SEC All Day, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts.
The SEC All Day on ABC begins right here. Tailgating on the 40 acres. It's Austin, Texas on a late summer Saturday with the number 7 Longhorns ready to showcase their immense talent. And of course, that means all eyes on Arch. The most talked about quarterback in the game is ready to go. Week 2 provides Manning a chance now to deliver on all the expectations. As we welcome you to the SEC on ABC. ABC College Football is presented by Starbucks. 7th-ranked Texas, a program that has won 24 of their last 25 home openers, facing San Jose State to get this 2025 season at DKR Memorial Stadium underway. Good afternoon, everybody. Glad you're with us again. Joe Tessitore, as always, with my partner Jesse Palmer. And Jesse, we've rarely seen anything like last week when it comes to the hype surrounding Arch Manning. And with that, of course, comes a lot of scrutiny, comes a lot of critics. But now here, he has a great chance to gather some momentum.
I think Arch Manning is a really good player, Joe, who played a very bad game against Ohio State. And I think two things can be true at the same time. When it comes to Arch Manning hype, I understand why it's there. He's big, he can throw it, he can run it. And when you watch the film, he makes throws that tell you this guy could be a first-round pick. But in that game against Ohio State, he really did struggle. And the shocking thing is he missed a lot of really easy throws. His mechanics were all out of whack. So I think, Joe, a lot of people today are tuning in because they want to see how Arch Manning is going to respond. Certainly everybody expects Texas to win this game. But I think it's really important that Arch Manning play well and really get that confidence back early here.
Coach Sark and the Horns out to show it all off today. Arch Manning and the Longhorns. We'll hear from Katie George and have kickoff when we return to Austin, Texas.
Missing, and he said, I don't know. He doesn't see it, he doesn't hear it, he doesn't look for it. He said the only form of social media that he has is a private Instagram account where if anything Texas related pops up, he clicks not interested so he doesn't have to see it. And then in the most respectful, polite way possible, he said he doesn't care what other people think. He doesn't care what we say on our broadcast or what other people say on their shows. All he cares about is his teammates and his coaches. And he was disappointed in the way that he played against Ohio State because he felt like he let those guys down. He didn't play to his standard. And while the outside world might have a different standard for Arch Manning, he doesn't buy into it. And that very attitude test is the reason he's going to rise above it all.
Katie, I couldn't agree with you more. And wouldn't that be a great lesson for everybody to have that kind of attitude? The private IG account, not worrying about what anybody thinks. The national reaction, the media narratives from last week, the hype, to this week, the criticism. And this guy's just going about his business, and he's going to be out there right away as Ryan Niblett will have the return for the Longhorns, and he makes his way out just beyond the 24-yard line. All right, Jesse, so here comes Arch Manning. And remember, last year did start 2 games here at home when Quinn Ewers was injured.
Well, he's got to get better fundamentally. We talked about how the mechanics broke down up at Columbus, and there were times where if his eyes were in the wrong place, by the time he got them right, his footwork wasn't there, and he was throwing the ball sidearm. He has to make sure in this game that everything is aligned, and it's something Sark told us they really got back to in practice this week, focusing on those fundamentals and mechanics. When everything is working together, that's going to help him be a lot more accurate today.
You see the numbers from last year for his 2 home starts when he completed 68% of his passes. They go with the tap to Moore, and DeAndre Moore with a chunk play for Texas to start this game.
Well, a little misdirection early from Sark, and it gets a lot of movement from San Jose State going one way and DeAndre Moore and his speed going the other.
Offense,
they're going to walk it
number
back.
13, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, remains first down.
That's on the receiver, Parker Livingston.
Yeah, he's over here at number 13, going to be getting a block. This is Moore coming this way. Livingston's a big receiver at 6'4". He just got a little too handsy wrapping around the defender. You see right there, that's an easy call for the referee.
So that negates the big play by DeAndre Moore. C.J. Baxter is going to be tackled right near the line of scrimmage by Lakio. Impact Players brought to you by Fairfield by Marriott.
You just mentioned C.J. Baxter, 6'1", 230 pounds. He can be a battery ram running between the tackles. Jack Endries was a great get in the portal out of Cal, catching balls for Manning, and then Jordan Pollard's a tackling machine.
Manning's going to wind it up, take a shot downfield. It's overthrown and incomplete. The defensive back, Jalen Thomas, was trying to make a play for it. The intended target was Ryan Wingo.
Well, I think that's a ball you'd like to see Arch Manning either check down or take off and run with. He had Wingo on the post, but you see here he kind of gets tied up, and at that point, that ball shouldn't get thrown. I don't even think Wingo thought he was going to give it a shot. That's when I think if you're Steve Sarkisian, you want to see Manning work through his progressions and go somewhere else with the football.
3rd down and 14 for Arch and the Horns. Manning, a little bit of traffic in the pocket as it's incomplete. So the penalty backs them up, and then unable to move the chains on the first series. It was intended for the true freshman McCutcheon as Manning trots off the field.
It was Jordan Pollard coming on a blitz. We just talked about him being an impact player. He's going to loop all the way around, and he's just able to get a piece of Arch Manning right as he throws this football, and that forces a little bit of an errant pass to the inside. And how about San Jose State's defense, Joe? Getting off the field early, that's a big win for them.
Sure was. A 3-and-out for Texas. O'Meester punts away, and this ball harmlessly goes out of bounds. San Jose State is led by Walker Egan, his 5th year of college football. He comes from a football family. There was Weston Egan, who played at New Mexico State. His brother Wyatt was at West Florida, and now Walker, 8 career starts. He was joking around saying, you know, we used to refer to ourselves when we were all at Santa Clarita High School as the Mannings of Santa Clarita, because they had 6+ years where it was nothing but an Egan. They consider themselves the Mannings of Santa Clarita, California.
Well, they're all slinging the pill, and certainly San Jose State's going to need Walker Egan to do a great job taking advantage of deep shot opportunities. This offense, they love to throw it downfield.
Floyd Chalk will take the carry, and Chalk able to get through the first wave of would-be tacklers out to the 49-yard line.
Well, you talk impact players for San Jose State. It starts with Danny Scudero at wide receiver. He is fast. They're going to throw his way often. Colin Simmons, one of the best young pass rushers in the game, and Anthony Hill Jr., easily one of the most versatile linebackers you'll see.
Eight-yard run by Chalk to get the day going, as he is tripped up right near the line of scrimmage. This Texas defense did a nice job against Ohio State a week ago.
Yeah, and they did a really good job, I think, stopping the run as well. And it's interesting to see San Jose State, a team that's known for run-and-shoot principles and throwing downfield, running it early here, trying to establish the line of scrimmage.
Last year, this offense was 5th in the nation in passing yards. Now a 3rd down and 1. And they go with the tap pass to Scudero, and Scudero gets to the outside, and he has a first down for San Jose State at the Texas 40.
Well, there's Scudero, and they're finding a way to get him a touch early. They're making this thing look like zone this way, and that's just going to freeze Anthony Hill Jr. for a split second and allow Scudero to come over here and get the edge. A nice design by offensive coordinator Craig Stutzman.
Egan threw it to the outside, intended for his favorite target, Scudero.
Well, they're going to go Scudero's way as much as possible. He's their most explosive player, Joe. He can run past you. He can run away from you. He's an excellent route runner in double moves, and he's a guy that can attack all 3 levels. Walker Egan threw his way 15 times against Central Michigan, and he may get more looks in this game today.
Egan had over 300 yards, couple of touchdown passes in that game a week ago. A lot of movement on the left side of the offensive line. You saw big Colin Simmons was already past the line of scrimmage.
Offside, defense number 1, unabated to the quarterback. 5 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
That's on Colin Simmons. He's an outstanding player, Joe. Led all freshmen last year in college football with 9 sacks. Sean Alexander, freshman of the year. But he's a guy that they need to play better. Did some good things against Ohio State, Joe, but he also, I think, missed some opportunities, some one-on-one pass rush situations against tackles and tight ends. He just didn't get it done, and they're asking him to raise his level of play.
Second and 5, play action, pressure on Egan, who gets it out, but Scudero was not even looking back as Anthony Hill was applying pressure.
We talked about his versatility, and he's got speed for a guy that's 6'3", 240 pounds, but he can also rush the passer. Now, in a third down situation on the 35-yard line, I'm interested to see what San Jose State's mindset's going to be. To me, Joe, this has to be 4-down territory. In a game like this, you've got to be aggressive.
Got to be aggressive on the road, playing the 7th-ranked team in the country. Massive underdog, but fearlessly taking on this challenge. 3rd down and 5. Egan on the slant, and he gets it complete, and he does so to Cooper Hoke. And with that, it's a 1st down for the Spartans.
That's a really nice job. It's a slant route up top coming all the way against Jalen Gilbo, and he's able to cross the defender's face, get low, and make a nice catch. Very athletic play, Joe. You know, Cooper's mom, Tisha, was on the World Cup champion 1999 women's soccer team.
Isn't that something? Won the gold medal in '96, the women's Team USA. Then the World Cup in '99. Egan downfield, and it's incomplete. Thrown to the outside. The intended target again was Hoke. So we told you that Craig Stutzman, the offensive coordinator, his 2nd season with San Jose State, the style and what they were able to do, and they were so productive a year ago, Jesse.
Yeah, threw it all over the yard. You see 42 pass attempts a game, 5th most yards. Again, played for June Jones as a receiver at Hawaii, so he incorporates a lot of those run and shoot principles into this passing attack at San Jose State.
Had been the play caller at Washington State 4 years ago. 2nd and 10. Here's Chalk. Chalk with a stiff arm, and with that gets extra yardage.
He's a ball of muscle. He's 5'7", 192 pounds. You saw that stiff arm there at the end of the run on Leonga Lafau. Not easy to do, but he runs angry. He's got a little bit of wiggle, but I'm impressed. Low to the ground, will stiff arm in the face, get off and get a few extra yards. And now to set up 3rd down. If I'm Walker Egan here on these critical 3rd downs, where's number 10, Danny Scudero? That's who I'm looking for.
Remember, they're 2 for 2 already on this opening drive in converting 3rd down. This is 3rd and 4.
He's all the way out here at the bottom of the screen.
9 catches a week ago. Egan on 3rd down. Has to turn around and back all the way up to the 40-yard line. And harmlessly strides out of bounds.
All right, now this looks like San Jose State bringing out the field goal unit here, and this was a bit of an adventure a week ago in a loss against Central Michigan. They had an opportunity to win the game late, but just over a minute to go, they had the ball on the 15-yard line, and Dennis Lynch missed the field goal. They really need him to kick well in this one.
He had 2 potential game-winning field goal attempts in the last couple minutes, the 33-yarder, the 56-yarder, and Lynch with a screwball of a kick that helicopters off to the side and is no good. So San Jose State able to move the ball. You can see Coach Ken Niumatalolo imploring his quarterback after that 3rd down to look downfield. Arch Manning back on the field when we come back.
Austin, Texas, and Arch Manning wasn't able to get into a rhythm. They went 3 and out on their 1st drive. Took a deep shot. He probably needed to work through the progression, check it down early, and then later in the drive on 3rd down, a little bit of pressure forces the errant pass. It's really important that Arch is able to have success here early on this drive and find some completions.
So there is Texas's first yardage gained in this game. Katie.
Yeah, Tess, Texas starting running back Trey Wisner is not available today. He's out with a lingering injury. Steve Sarkisian said holding him today is best to hopefully ensure he's healthy long term. C.J. Baxter will get most of the run, but Sark said he's excited to see what backups Jared Gibson and Christian Clark do with their opportunities.
In case you didn't know, players are now getting paid money.
Yes, as was very obvious by the amount of gold and diamonds around Trey Wisner's neck right there. If we haven't mentioned what happened on July 1st, the House versus NCAA settlement, there's an example of it. Hello, Trey Wisner.
26 pounds of iced out Cuban links on Trey Wisner's neck right now. By the way, that was a nice throw in rhythm to Ryan Wingo on that last throw. It was the first time that Arch Manning really kind of looked comfortable early in this game.
Did I mention I used a payphone down the hall when I was in college? All right, here we go. First down for Arch Manning. Play action, turns it back around. C.J. Baxter is upended, tackled for a loss by Noah McNeil-Franklin.
That is such a great job by Noah McNeil-Franklin, not getting fooled by all the movement and misdirection happening in front of him. Steve Sarkisian's known for a lot of this stuff. You're pulling a lineman, you're rolling out one way, you're throwing the screen back the other side, but you're seeing the veteran presence of a fifth-year senior in McNeil-Franklin staying home and making a great play.
2nd and 15 after that tackle for loss. Play action. Arch traffic again, as he's going to use his legs, of course, wildly skilled in doing so as he makes his way to the 45. It'll be 3rd down from there.
Right now, San Jose State is really mixing up a bunch of pressures, and they're trying to give different looks. That time they brought the corner blitz. You're going to see it here. Baxter's able to pick it up, but Arch Manning's eyes come down right away. It's a good decision to go get what he can get. Now a critical 3rd down, and this was an area they really struggled last week against Ohio State, Joe. They were only 1 for 8 on 3rd and 4 or more. They've got to get more efficient, and it starts with protecting Arch Manning.
3rd down and 6. Only a 3-man rush. Oh, and it's incomplete off the hands of Ryan Wingo.
Well, that time the protection was outstanding, and San Jose State only rushed 3 guys. You've got Wingo on a dig route, and Arch Manning puts it right into his hands. You can't throw that thing any better.
Oh, you got to catch that.
I mean, that's right in the hands. You're going to go advance that, and it's a big play on offense. And it's been that kind of game early here for Texas offensively.
2 drives, and now their 2nd punt for Texas. Bouwmeester, the big Aussie, punts away. And a fair catch by Thomas inside the 15-yard line. Texas only has 16 total yards after 2 drives. Bevo's got to fire them up a little bit here at home. More to come when we return to Austin.
ABC College Football is presented by the Starbucks Coffee Company.
Straight from the greatest seat in sports, the Goodyear blimp brings the view still, always, forever. High above DKR, Texas Memorial Stadium. You know, they talk about the big gains you make from week 1 to week 2, and everybody down here was saying, hey, a lot of new faces out there, that experience in a tough environment that they had at Ohio State, it would pay dividends. So far, not the case for the Texas offense. 9 plays, just 22 yards of offense and 2 punts. And now San Jose State back out there. Egan looking for the quick strike, but Leland Smith was well covered.
All right, it's really important in this game that Walker Egan takes care of the football, and that's been a problem for him throughout his career. He puts up really big numbers, but in 9 starts, he's thrown 12 picks and he's lost 4 fumbles. Sometimes can be cavalier with the football, and you saw it on the first drive against Central Michigan. Throwing into the end zone into double coverage, it just leaves you scratching your head. In a game like this where the margin of error, Joe, is so small, they need Walker Egan to do a great job with his decisions.
Had that conversation with Coach Ken just the other day. 2nd down and 10 now for the Spartans. Quick out, and he is able to get that complete. It'll be 3rd down from there. Flag is down after the catch from Scudero.
Illegal motion, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
That's Dan Gautreaux, our referee from the SEC. But we mentioned Coach Ken. Last week, Egan had a couple of interceptions thrown in that loss. And he said, I got a text at 1:30 in the morning that night saying, hey, Coach, that's my bad on the turnovers. But Coach Ken said, it shows me resolve, grit, accountability, saying I'm going to do better. I'm going to be the leader who holds myself accountable.
Yeah, you got to be able to turn the page, too. That was a hangover. Coach Ken said that was one of the worst losses in his entire career. Couldn't sleep for 3 days, but you play in Texas. You got to get ready to go.
2nd and 15, backs up to his own goal line. Now in the end zone, has to throw it away, and it's incomplete. That was dangerous as Amozolo was crashing in on him.
Well, there was just tremendous push coming up the middle as well. I think it was Cole Brevard at nose guard. Yeah, you'd be saying big number 99. The first read's not there. He's able to split the double team, and then Amozolo able to get the hit. Now 3rd and long, you've got to protect, and you've got to find where number 1 is. Colin Simmons here at the bottom of the screen. That's the danger if you're San Jose State's offensive line now.
Remember, 9 sacks a year ago to lead the Horns for Simmons. Let's see if he gets after him here on 3rd and 15. And they are going to go with the conservative call of the handoff to play it safe as Floyd Chalk takes it ahead. The punt team will trot out into the field.
Well, Texas's offense is struggling early, but one thing we've seen early this year, Joe, Texas has a really good defense. In that game against Ohio State, man, they were dominant. They held Ohio State to 203 yards. They crossed the 50-yard line twice.
Yes.
And held the best offensive player in the country, Jeremiah Smith, to 43 yards on 6 catches. I mean, this looks very early on, lots of football to go, to be a national championship caliber defense, and they're definitely doing their job here early in this one.
Carrizosa with his heels on that burnt orange in the end zone. They're coming after him. And a flag is down as Niblett fields it and is already near the 45-yard line.
The question is this going to be contacting the kicker or roughing the kicker? Texas had about 4 guys get back.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Defense, number 16, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. 1st down.
It's interesting, in talking to Jeff Banks, the special teams coordinator, yesterday, he said they scouted it and they knew that Taft could get a free run at him, Jesse.
Yeah, well, they sent everybody that time. Again, 4 guys getting in there, but they make the contact. I don't think it was actually Taft that hit the kick.
No, it wasn't.
It was Malik Muhammad, actually, that did it, but the personal foul gives a fresh set of downs now on offense to San Jose State. That's a big mistake for Texas.
There's Jeff Banks. He is one of the best special teams coordinators in the country, former great specialist himself. Also has the tight end room here, and they're very high on the young crop of tight ends that they have offensively. But right now, it's San Jose State, after the penalty, staying on the field. So a 1st down out to the 29-yard line. Radcliffe patiently waiting for something, and he's able to scoot ahead for a good gain on 1st down.
You know what's interesting? I'm watching the tempo of San Jose State, and you and I are used to seeing them in our film study go a lot faster than this. But they were worried about the heat here in Austin, Texas. They think that it could get down to about 100 degrees on the field. And because of that, they wanted to be careful not to run out of gas too early in this game. This is much slower of a tempo than you're used to seeing San Jose State play.
By the way, as is all of college football seemingly this year, we'll get into that conversation a little later on, of the difference we are seeing in just the nature of the sport. Fewer plays, more huddles, and of course the new clock rolls. Katie, what can you tell us in terms of the heat down at field level?
Well, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's pretty ominous here. So we've got a lot of cloud cover. It looks like it could possibly rain or storm. Down on the field on this turf, it's probably about 80 degrees. It's not the heat, guys. It's so unbelievably humid down here.
3-yard rush by Radcliffe for a 1st down.
Katie, if it makes you feel better, Joe has 3 fans blowing out right now.
Here's Egan with time to take a strike downfield to a wide open man, but just overthrows Scudero.
And that's one you can't miss in a game like this. We talked about Scudero being the explosive option for Egan. He's running a double move, a little curl and go. Right there, it just forces Grayson Littleton, the true freshman, to pause for a moment. And Egan, normally very, very accurate on deep balls, but to win a game like this, if you're San Jose State, Joe, you just feel like you're not going to get a lot of chances like that. And when you get them, you got to hit them.
And they had it. Radcliffe, this time he is bottled up. He was met by Hero Canoe.
So it's setting up another 3rd and long here, and you always have your eyes on pass protection of San Jose State. They split their offensive line out wide in this spread and shred type offense. They're trying to lengthen the line to get to the quarterback. So defensive ends have to take a longer path. The offensive line will slide, and you'll see Eget back there sometimes half rolling, just trying to give himself a few extra milliseconds to get the football out. Interesting to see what Texas decides to do here from a pass rush perspective.
See how they apply it with those wider splits on 3rd down and 9. Here's Eget, does have time, drives the ball, but incomplete. Again, looking for his favorite target, Scudero, covered by McDonald.
I think that's one Scudero can make. I know that's tough to get down and get low for that, but that was a really good throw, I thought, that time from Eget, on time with Scudero on the outbreaking route. We'll see this again here. Hitch, ball comes out. He's just got to get low. He's got to slide down and try to make that catch. Again, the margin for error, it's just tiny in a game like this.
Remember, we had the penalty the last time San Jose State was punting away. Now Carrizosa will look to sky this as he does turn it over, and that sends Niblett back to the 10-yard line, where he is met with excellent coverage again. Arch Manning is 3 for 6 for 11 yards, just 22 total yards of offense. But he's right back out there when we return from Austin. Well, you know what the past week has been like with the criticism and the reaction to Arch Manning after all the hype. Coach Sark saying, hey, for Arch, the expectations were so out of control on the outside. Let's finish the book before we judge him. That was one single chapter, and now we're off to the second chapter here, Jesse. Week 2 at home, and it has not been exactly the start that everybody has expected. He's 3 for 6, 11 yards. Texas has punted twice. Christian Clark on the carry. Meanwhile, his family is here, and his dad had a great conversation with him this week, as you see Cooper Manning and his wife Ellen off to the side. And he said, you know, Cooper said to him, hey, you're going to have weeks like that, and if you're lucky enough, you play long enough at the highest level, you'll have a lot of weeks like that.
Yeah, it's about being resilient and bouncing back, and I think there's still a lot of question marks that we all have about Arch Manning, the type of player he is, and we're learning as we go.
Here's Christian Clark on 2nd and 8, so it'll be 3rd down from the 17-yard line.
I mean, what I know is that, yeah, were the expectations probably too high? Probably. Was there an overreaction after Ohio State? Probably. But I can think back to guys like Johnny Manziel and Joe Burrow that struggled early on in their careers. I called Cam Newton's first start on the road against Mississippi State. He didn't even throw for 140 yards in that game. He ended up winning the Heisman, winning a national championship, and being the first pick of the draft. So, I mean, it's still so early in the evaluation process for Arch Manning.
3rd down and 3. Manning downfield, wide open, and here's Livingston. Parker Livingston, look at him go, just like that. Hook 'em.
And just like that, Joe, one play can change everything from a momentum standpoint and from a confidence standpoint. That time, Arch Manning giving a lot of time, really nice route down the field by Livingston on the wheel, and it's an explosive play, and Texas's offense finally comes to life.
Livingston, who last week caught their only touchdown at Ohio State, was also the intended receiver on the failed 4th down in the end zone in the 4th quarter, and goes for an 83-yard touchdown as Manning found him in stride, Jesse.
Ringo's running a post outside. That takes 2 defenders and occupies them, and that allows the wheel route to be wide open up the boundary. 2 defenders in the back end occupied by 1 deep route, and they're worried about the speed of Wingo. There's a little bit of a slip, obviously, by the defender in San Jose State, and Livingston shows you the wheels. Not already his 2nd receiving touchdown now in 2 games. This is a young player, only a redshirt freshman, that I think is going to make a lot of plays in this offense in the passing attack for Steve Sarkisian in Texas.
He generated a ton of buzz in fall camp. Livingston was one of the players when you talked to people down here in Austin and you say, who's flashing? Who's really elevated their game here in fall camp? Number 13 was the name that came up time and again, Jesse.
Well, and you could see it even in the Ohio State game too, Joe. In the second half, when there were big 3rd and 4th downs that Texas really needed to have, that's where Arch Manning was looking to throw the football. And so he obviously has a confidence level there. They have good chemistry. But for Arch Manning now, hey, okay, I know things weren't great first 2 drives. You just stay even keel. You don't get too high, you don't get too low. You just threw a touchdown pass. Don't get too high. Now you got to take the field again, and on offense, lead them down the field.
Katie?
You know, guys, on Thursday, CJ Baxter told Arch Manning, you don't have to be Superman. You have so many guys around you to help. Baxter said you normally have Wisner, me, Wingo, Moore, Livingston, the list goes on. And then you have one of the best defenses in the country to lean on. You don't have to play perfect. We're here to support you. We believe in you. And play loose. When you have fun, that's all that matters. I mean, pregame, you could see it. Baxter's trying to loosen up Arch because Arch told us yesterday, when he's playing fun and in the moment, that's when he's at his best test.
And Katie, you were sitting across from C4, CJ Baxter, yesterday. He turned to you and he said that, and then you turned to Arch and said, now, what do you think about this guy? And he said, he's one of the smartest players I've ever been around. He thinks like a quarterback, and that's what Arch respects when it comes to CJ. So they have a dynamic relationship. Egan. A little bit of pressure, and that ball is intercepted. So the offense strikes big, and now the defense responds with Gilbo coming up with the pickoff.
Well, that time he's trying to go to his tight end, Jackson Kanan, and Kanan slipped a little bit coming out of his break. Ball gets tipped up in the air by Jelani McDonald, and it's Gilbo able to scoop this thing up and score, or get the pick. We talked about how important it was for San Jose State to not turn the football over. This has been a huge issue for them since the beginning of last year, but the slip by the tight end on the route creates a massive takeaway for Texas defensively. Joe, last year, they led the nation in interceptions. So you get the long touchdown pass to Livingston, your defense gets an interception right away, and here you are cooking again inside the 35-yard line.
So now Arch Manning back on the field with great field position at the San Jose State 34-yard line. And Baxter showing a little wiggle and keeping his balance and body control to surge ahead for a first down.
Well, it's nice to have that physical presence running the football if you're Texas too, right? Because at 6'1", 230, he can wear you down. And last year, he was out with an ACL. You know, they have Quintravion Wisner, they have Jaden Blue. They're speed guys that are good outside runners. Now it's nice to have the big fella that can run between the tackles.
See a little bit of rain coming down here in Austin. Here's Ryan Wingo as they utilize the quick game. So the 83-yard touchdown pass to Parker Livingston, and then Arch goes back, and you can see him looking up at the big jumbo and saying, that's the way we want to do it here. Keeping a little bit of that momentum that he gathered, the better form he had in the fourth quarter against Ohio State, and then a slow start here at home until that.
Well, it just takes one play to galvanize an entire team, right? The long touchdown pass right away, the defense gets it back. Like, that's the textbook definition of complementary football.
2nd and 6. Baxter waiting for the block, and in doing so, he twists his way for a 1st and goal opportunity.
And when you look at Texas up front, they have a massive size advantage in this game, Joe. Their offensive line outweighs San Jose State's D-line by an average of 44 pounds per person. And I think that's something that has to demonstrate itself in this game, running the ball, especially down here in the red zone. You see that difference right there. Texas very big, San Jose State not very big. And so when you get down here and it's hard to throw into these windows, you want to be able to pound the rock, especially when you have a big back like Baxter.
1st and goal. Baxter cuts back against the grain, inside the 5, lowers the shoulders, and it will be second down from about the 3-yard line. Stearns with the tackle.
And I think you got to like that about Texas, too. Even in the Ohio State game, Joe, I thought they did a really good job running the football against the physical defense. They averaged 4.5 yards a carry in that game. This is a brand new offensive line, 4 new starters up there, but these guys have been in the system a long time, and they're playing very well together right now early on this season.
Final half minute here of this first quarter. I saw the Texas offense lingering, and now all of a sudden sees them with a chance to score again. Quick strike to the end zone, and it's a touchdown to Livingston again. From 83 yards to 3 yards. 2 touchdowns.
Having success in the run game, setting up the RPO slant for a touchdown. Complementary football, scoring defense, giving it back to you, but then on offense, setting things up. Really physical at the point of attack, and you get down close. And it's the play fake in the RPO that opens up Livingston to the outside.
So Manning now 6 of 9 with 2 passing touchdowns as Mason Shipley adds the extra point.
Well, you've been running it so well with Baxter, and so now you start showing this, and you just get movement here, you get movement here, and that opens up the window behind it. And RPOs is something Sark is known for. It's something he does almost virtually every play, it feels like, and something he didn't feel like he called enough against Ohio State. This is Sark's offense here. Nice job in patient route running by Livingston on the outside. Big body slant at the goal line. Nice safe throw by Manning, putting it in his body where only his guy's going to be able to make the catch. These two have a chemistry that's developing. Now it's already the 3rd time early this year they've hooked up for scores.
Remember, it was the short field that started that as they were set up at the 34-yard line because of the interception secured by Jalen Gilbo, veteran defensive back. This is what Gilbo was able to do off the deflected pass. Jalen Gilbo had himself a big few months here. Became a father this summer, Jesse. He's got a daughter named Riley. She was born in mid-July. He said the moment Riley entered the world, everything changed. Bigger responsibilities, but an inspiration every time.
Speaking from
that
experience,
he takes the field. Yes.
Being a girl dad is the best. Congratulations to Jalen Gilbo.
Remember, SEC all day on ABC, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. And coming up next, it's Ole Miss against Kentucky. And then 7:30 Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Number 15 Michigan against number 18 Oklahoma. That game is coming your way. Bryce Underwood. You talk about hype surrounding young quarterbacks. How about Bryce Underwood?
Tons of talent. I can't wait to see that game because while he's talented, it's his first big test on the road in a hostile environment, going up against one of the better defensive minds. Remember, Brett Venables now calling plays on defense for Oklahoma.
All of a sudden, Walker Eaget and the Spartans blink, and they're down 2 touchdowns here at Texas. Eaget, and a man right in his face, but he was able to get it out and complete to Cooper Hope. So it started slow, but that first quarter finished red hot for the Horns as Arch Manning with 2 touchdown passes to Livingston. The SEC on ABC, presented by Starbucks, returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Welcome back to Austin. We're on the sidelines with Ken Niumatalolo. Coach Ken, your defense got off to a great start, but an explosive and an interception make this a 14-point game. What do you need to see from your team in a response?
We got a long ways to go. I mean, our corner fell down in thirds. I mean, he got to make a play there, and we turned the ball over there. We've been playing well. We've missed some shots. We've had some guys open. It's a long ways to go. We just got to play one play at a time.
Thanks, Coach Ken.
Thank you.
Coach Ken, of course, the all-time winningest head coach at the Naval Academy. And now his 2nd season at San Jose State. 2nd and 2 for his offense as Radcliffe that's a turnover. He fumbled the ball just as he was coming down across that line to gain. No ruling on the field right now as they discuss it, but Texas came away with the football. Let's see if Radcliffe was down or not.
Yeah, it was Michael Taft getting in there along with Anthony Smith. You know, I thought watching that live too, Joe, the ball popped out.
The ruling on the field is the runner lost possession of the ball. The ball was recovered by the defense. First down, Texas.
It is Anthony Smith with the fumble recovery.
So that's true freshman Lance Jackson, number 40, Michael Taft, 16, and Anthony Smith, number 26, all converging at the same time. From the left, you'll see Taft coming in. Looks like he gets the shoulder on the ball. Oh, and then it's Smith there ripping it out with his right hand. And then he has possession of it right away. That's incredible.
He rips it out plus possesses it. But boy, that's really close.
But where are the knees of Radcliffe, though? Did the knee touch the ground before Smith ripped the football out? That's what they're going to be looking at here. Knees down there. I don't know, Joe. I think it looks, from that angle, it looks to me like he still has possession of the ball.
Let's bring in Matt Austin, our rules expert.
Yeah, Joe, this is extremely close, obviously, and you nailed it right on the head. When the knee is down, was the ball already coming loose? It did look like he was starting to pry that arm loose just before the knee hit the ground. So, as close as this is, I would not be surprised if this play is upheld.
Wow.
It is an amazing play by Smith.
Yeah, it really was. And remember, it's a bang-bang play. It happens quickly, as Matt was just talking about. You need indisputable video evidence to overturn this. The call on the field was that this was a fumble recovered by the defense.
Of course, the weather conditions here that changed within the last half an hour, making things a little slick down the field.
How big would this be for Texas's defense, too? One thing Steve Sarkisian wanted was his guys to fly around more and get takeaways. Last year, they had 31 on the season, second in the nation. They didn't get any against Ohio State, but if this thing is upheld, that's already going to be 2 for them. You're just seeing these guys play with aggressive nature.
Didn't have any turnovers, but last week against the Buckeyes, keep in mind, so much attention on Arch Manning. The Texas defense held the Buckeyes to 203 yards. You see Smith, they are loaded with 4- and 5-star talent across the board. Guys that are elite pro prospects, guys who are coming up, and you see it at every level.
After video review, the call on the field is upheld. First down, Texas.
So it is a first down for Texas. And again, Arch Manning and the Horns will have phenomenal field position to start a drive.
They skew the football. Turnovers on the samurai sword. I'll tell you what's amazing to me is how he was able to rip that out and then tuck the football into his body. That was unbelievable strength that time by Smith.
And now I'm starving for a good kebab post-game. You?
I am. I know a place.
Some nice saffron with rice underneath.
At the Soho House here in Austin, Texas.
The Moroccan.
The Turkish.
The Turkish meatballs.
Yeah, don't sleep on it.
Soho House. Let's go.
Set the game clock to 14 minutes, 53 seconds. Thank you.
Glad you're with us here from DKR, home opener for the Horns.
So I wonder, in a sudden change situation right here on the 36-yard line, if Steve Sarkisian decides to get aggressive here and take a shot. You oftentimes see that with offensive play callers in this area of the field.
Speedy Ryan Wing goes in the slot to the near side. Here's the play action, a chance for that shot. Downfield, gets it complete. Endries into the end zone. Another touchdown pass for Arch. "36 yards to Jack Endries. The transfer from Cal.
And that is such a phenomenal job by Texas's O-line, giving Arch Manning time, because that route by Endries took forever to come open. I mean, he was lined up at tight end. He had to fight off a defensive end, then fight through the linebackers to get all the way to the other side of the field, up the wheel route, up the seam, for Arch to hit him. And you see every coach, Dwayne Aquina, all of them congratulating Arch Manning.
And you can almost see it. It's not just a smile. It's like an exhale that he's been waiting to have, Jesse.
Like weight is coming off his shoulders. There's no question. But listen, he's not doing it all by himself. He's getting a lot of help here from his teammates as well. Look at this pass pro up front. big. Look, this is the target right here. He's running the seam. It's going to take a long time. He's got all day to throw it. Arch Manning has come alive. The offense has come alive. The defense has 2 takeaways, and Bevo is hooking them.
High above Austin, you're watching the SEC on ABC. Texas with 21 points scored in 3 minutes and 12 seconds of action with 3 touchdown passes now for Arch Manning.
If you go back to the fourth quarter last week against Ohio State, really a microcosm of the kind of day it was for Arch Manning. There were some really good moments. Jack Endry's here on a wheel route. Check this throw out by Arch Manning. He's got to fit this between a corner and a safety. That's a first-round draft pick throw. The problem is literally plays later in a critical 3rd and 5. Ryan Wingo wide open on a drag route. Defender gets caught in the mess. And this ball sails on Arch because of bad mechanics. He's late seeing it. He doesn't get his feet set, throws wide open. You see that arm slot come down, Joe, sidearm, and it kind of gets away from him. Fundamentally, Arch Manning has looked a lot better early in this game. And since starting 2 for 5, he's been on absolute fire since, going 5 for 5 with 3 TD passes.
I want to ask you a little more about that, with what your eye sees and one of the conversations that the 3 of us had with Coach Sark yesterday as Chalk takes it ahead, because Sark turned to us yesterday and says sometimes, Jess, he gets sped up, like the clock in his head is going too fast, and then he tries to make up for it with his arm. And you mentioned that sidearm release.
Yeah, because if your eyes aren't right and you finally see the receiver open up late, you've got to get your feet set quickly, and then your arm follows. If your feet aren't set, all of a sudden you start to kind of go shortstop sidearm to get it out quicker.
Egan! He is just mashed. First it was Ethan Burke right in his face, and then Colin Simmons takes him down.
Ethan Burke made the play, though, and he beat a tackle, and he's right here. He's going to beat the tackle. He's going to beat the running back. It does not matter. Ethan Burke with a good first step, great hands on the swim move. He forces Egan to have to hold on to it. And then Colin Simmons and company come from the other side to clean that up. Really nice job on the pass rush.
So now it's a 3rd and 13 after Colin Simmons' sack. Four-man rush. They go with the handoff to Chalk. A penalty flag comes out. Ball's out again. Ball is out again, and it is picked up by Trey Moore and returned, as he is out at the 1-yard line, but we will see what the flag carries with it.
Early on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense, returned to the 1-yard line. Holding, offense, number 74. The penalty is declined. First down, Texas.
And now this Texas defense is just firing off. The interception, the fumble recovery, the sack, and now the fumble return. 3 straight turnovers, Jesse.
The hold was on the Utah State transfer left guard, Sione Nomani, for San Jose State up front. And then it's Anthony Hill, number 0, and again, Ty-Anthony Smith, number 26, who forced the last fumble in on the action. That's one of those country fumbles where it's just laying on the ground, nobody around it. If you're Trey Moore, you just scoop it up and try to go score. And Texas right now just hitting on all cylinders. And that picture right there, that's the kind of day it's been for San Jose State here in the last several minutes. They just can't hold on to the ball.
And now a jumbo look with extra tight ends in the backfield for 1st and goal. Baxter trying to get up and over, but he was denied. A good job by Funga, the nose tackle, Nafa Funga from American Samoa in the middle of that defense for the Spartans.
I think he's their best D lineman. I really enjoy watching him on film. He's only 6'2", but he's 305 pounds. Plays with low pad level, and oftentimes down here, low man wins. He's got a big smile on his face right now because he's feeling it. He's the one guy that's really active and makes plays for them.
You know the big defensive lineman where it looks like you can't tell if they're wearing shoulder pads or not wearing shoulder pads?
That's him.
That's him.
That's him.
Second and goal. Nick Townsend is the fullback in front of Baxter. Baxter following Townsend and in. A rushing touchdown for C4. Flag is down to 2-yard line.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 54 and number 73. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, remains second down.
So wipe it off and march him back.
That's Cole Hudson and DJ Campbell kind of high-lowing Nafa Funga right here. This is the triangle you're watching. You can't engage in high-low and cut block a defensive player like this in this area of the field when he's engaged with an offensive lineman.
Obviously a player safety concern with the emphasis on that rule. And so now the ball is brought back to a second and goal out beyond the 15-yard line. Manning, empty look on second and goal from the 15 to the end zone. And how about a score? And that's 4 for Arch. Jack Endries again.
It's a nice scheme by Steve Sarkisian, just creating space over the middle of the field for Jack Endries to get into. So you're going to have 2 high safeties. They're both going to be dropping deep. This little out route takes this defender with them. There's a big area of the field to run into if you're Endries from the outside. Again, really nice pass protection. Just a 4-man rush. Arch Manning has all day to throw that football. And the transfer from Cal shows you the wheels and the speed and the route running ability. He's looked real good here in these last 2 drives.
Mason Shipley with the extra point. 28-0, Texas.
Well, it didn't start great for Arch Manning in this game, no question about it. And, you know, it's all about trying to find him get his rhythm in the Rams truck unstoppable performance here. Corner blitz, second drive of the game. He's stepping up in the pocket. You think if he just looks downfield a little longer, he may have Endries here on the corner route, decides to tuck in and go get what he can get. But then later, protection gets a little bit better. You take the swing route outside. Parker Livingston on the wheel route. It's his first touchdown pass of this game. And it's just been an avalanche tidal wave since that. Another RPO slant, this time to Livingston for number 2. And then it's been the tight end, Joe. Jack Endries catching that wheel route up the seam for 3 and then catching that glance route outside for 4. 28 points scored now in the last 4 minutes and 56 seconds.
Unstoppable performance presented by Ram Trucks, and they have been unstoppable on the last 10 plays. 4 touchdowns in the last 10 plays for Texas. And let's say good afternoon to Kevin.
That's good afternoon. AT&T is keeping fans connected as we take a look at our multi-view, which is showcasing a bunch of great games, events across all of our networks. And you see some action going on, pretty good one over on ESPN right now between Illinois and Duke. You get all of this right on the new ESPN app. Back to you guys in Austin.
How things have changed here in this game. The 83-yard touchdown pass, the longest offensive play for Texas since 2017 when Manning hit Livingston, and it's been all Texas since. Egan with a lot of time as he goes with the shallow cross to Tonga Vailoa. Yes, Tully Tonga Vailoa, the first cousin to Tua.
There's a penalty flag down back to near where the ball was thrown.
Number 74. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
That's on Sione Namani, starting left guard.
Well, that's his second penalty in as many plays. They need him to lock in. There haven't been a lot of instances in this game, Joe, where Walker Egan has had a lot of time to throw the football. That was one right there. But it just seems like when they've had their chances, they're not capitalizing. You think back to the first quarter, Danny Scudero wide open down the right sideline on a double move. Gets missed. just can't have the penalties. You just can't have the turnovers. You just can't shoot yourself in the foot.
Danny Scudero, who had 9 catches for 189 yards a week ago, has 1 catch today against this Texas defensive backfield. First down and 20. Egan gets it out quickly to Scholes.
But I think you got to give Pete Kwiatkowski, the D coordinator for Texas, a lot of credit too. He's got a good scheme going on right now, and he's taking away Scudero with double teams, and he's forcing Walker Egan to have to hold on to the football. You've seen him pump fake a lot, and then when the timing gets thrown off, everything has been falling apart in this passing attack, and it's been allowing Texas to make some big-time plays.
There is PK, Pete Kwiatkowski, one of the best defensive coordinators in all of college football. And what they've done in terms of recruiting the elite talent at every level of this defense, it really shows up. Quick strike is complete for a first down to Kyrie Scholes.
So you got to go other places. If they're going to take Scudero away, other guys have to step up and make catches like that by Scholes. Really nice job on the slant throw. He's getting a start because Malachi Riley injured with a concussion. So some other players in this receiving group are going to need to start making plays here for Walker Egan.
$16-yard completion to get the first down. Oh, Simmons with a free rush on Egan as the flag rains down immediately, and that was a well-thrown ball as Scholes was coming back to collect it at the Texas 42.
Offside. Defense number 1 in the neutral zone at the snap. The penalty is declined. First down.
That's an incredible play by Walker Egan. First off, avoiding Colin Simmons. I don't know how he was able to make him miss, and then you're running out to the right. Cole Brevard at 350 pounds is bearing down on you. And good job by Kyrie Scholes not quitting on the play, running the comeback route. Nice, accurate throw.
I mean, you're a quarterback in college football, and you got Simmons or a guy like Harold Perkins or any of the great edge rushers we have in the game coming at you.
You know how Drew Brees used to always throw the ball on the ground? Okay, plays over, I'm done. Peyton Manning used to do that. Eli did it.
Thus the 2-decade-long careers.
Yeah.
Jabari Bates on the carry.
But just imagine, too, I mean, if you're Walker Egan, what you lost from a year ago. Nick Nash, 104 catches, over 1,300 yards, 16 touchdowns, a Biletnikoff finalist. Justin Lockhart had over 980 yards receiving as well. Big bodies on the outside that could make plays one-on-one. They don't have the same size and playmaking ability on the perimeter that they had a year ago. And that makes it tough against a defense like this.
You mentioned Nick Nash, the triple crown of receiving in college football. Led FBS in receptions, yards, and receiving touchdowns. 2nd and 5, and it's another well-thrown ball to Scholes. So now the Egan and Kyrie Scholes connection has arrived for the Spartans.
And I thought he was going to throw that to Scudero running an out-breaking route, but he decided to keep it. It looked like he had something open on the left-hand side by the boundary. Instead, he goes to a second read in the progression and another accurate throw. Playing in really good rhythm right now.
Now a little bit of tempo from San Jose State. Quick to the line. Trying to get on the board here in Austin. Bates straight ahead for a gain of maybe 3.5 yards.
You know, it's an offense, Joe, that doesn't run the football very, very much. And I think this is an area of the field where that really hurts them. Down in the red zone, generally, the best red zone offenses are the ones who can tote the rock because the windows to throw into down here are so tight. So it'll be interesting to see what San Jose is able to put together here, especially if they're trying to be physical.
So Craig Stutzman, the offensive coordinator, calling in the play to Walker Egan, the 5th-year player, redshirt senior quarterback. Patiently waited his turn. Egan, good ball down to the 5-yard line to Scudero. 1st and goal, Spartans.
Wow, that was a bang-bang play. Scudero making the catch. Michael Tapp all over him. Watch this. Catch hit right away. For a guy that's only 5'9", 174, great toughness securing that football in the middle of the field.
And Tama Amisanai comes in, the true freshman from Hawaii. They have run packages for him. Last week against Central Michigan, he had 5 carries. Very athletic quarterback, true freshman, who they like to get on the field. Bates straight ahead for a score. Jabari Bates with the rushing touchdown for San Jose State.
And you could see the running ability of Amisone, and it just froze the true freshman defensive end Lance Jackson for a moment and really opened up a nice crease for San Jose State to run through. This is the player they're trying to impact with a possible quarterback run. On the outside, Lance Jackson, he has to honor Emisone's ability to run it. He saw it on film against Central Michigan. Having the more versatile athletic quarterback in the game opens up the run. I'll tell you, very impressive drive offensively by San Jose State when they needed it.
Extra point from Lynch, and it's 28-7 on a 75-yard drive managed by Walker Egan, capped by Bates.
Free Eat Sonic.
College football rankings are brought to you by Chick-fil-A as we look at the new top 10 after what happened in week 1.
Well, you see even teams that lost those big top 10 matchups still staying in. Obviously, Texas still in this group, Notre Dame as well, even Clemson. And, you know, there's a new metric that's getting adjusted a bit with the committee this year that we'll start to see in November of adding more weight and giving more value to big games and playing good teams. And so no surprise to me, really, to see those teams staying in the top 10 based on how those games went, even though they lost.
They go with the short kick, and it is fielded and brought out to the 42-yard line by the tight end Jordan Washington. Tomorrow's Sunday NFL Countdown. Aaron Rodgers will make his Steelers debut. That comes against the Jets. Of course, what to expect from Micah Parsons. Packers against the Lions. It's 10 a.m. Eastern. And then Monday Night Football kicks off with the Vikings and Bears at 8 p.m. on ESPN and ABC, the all-new ESPN app. Peyton and Eli are back on ESPN2. Hey, speaking of Micah Parsons, by the way, he is a mentor to Colin Simmons, the great edge rusher for Texas. The recent, of course, NFL headline grabber with the trade. But since high school for Simmons, Parsons has acted as a mentor to him, and you see how that pays off as Manning quickly gets it out to DeAndre Moore. Arch Manning, who this week he met with us, he says, I don't pay attention to all the media narratives, to all the buzz, both the hype on the front end coming into the season or all the criticism and the weekday debate shows all this week. He says, private IG account, if Texas comes up on my algorithm, I click not interested. But the fans are interested in throws like that. DeAndre Moore stretching out on the sideline for the completion for Texas. And Manning, another 17 yards, 4 touchdowns on 10 completions.
And there's an example of really good mechanics that time by Arch Manning, because he's half rolling to his left. The route's coming back from the left-hand side to his right, gets his feet underneath him, gets his shoulders turned, and he's just throwing the football with so much more conviction in this game.
Yeah, see, that's 7 straight completions now as Christian Clark is taken down for a loss by Latu.
And here's what I like, too, about the play calling from Steve Sarkisian is he's not just putting the training wheels on him and saying, hey, it didn't go great against Ohio State. Let's throw some swings and some screens and slant throws to get you into this game. He started 2 for 5. He's been on fire since. But Steve Sarkisian's calling the offense, and he's letting Arch Manning be aggressive and take shots when they present themselves, really putting a lot of confidence in his young quarterback.
2nd and 12. Flag comes down as he goes downfield. What an effort to high point that ball by Livingston. But we will check on the flag.
Holding. Offense, number 52. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains 2nd down.
The only returning starting offensive lineman is DJ Campbell, who was flagged there.
Yeah, going up against Nafa Funga. We talked about him earlier being the most disruptive D lineman up front for San Jose State. A little bit of a scramble drill here. It's a good job by Livingston. You work the other way. 6'4", very long arms, just going up and high pointing the football. Tremendous effort. All for naught, though, because of the holding by DJ Campbell.
But you start to see that confidence that's developed between Arch Manning and Parker Livingston.
You do, Joe, and you know, you only get that in games.
Yep.
It's one thing to do it in the off season when no one's watching and doing it in practice, but you have to do it in game type situations, and number 13 and number 16 have been on the same page.
Second and 22, quickly to McCutcheon. McCutcheon is taken down out of bounds. Katie.
Yeah, Tess, if you notice, between plays, Arch Manning has continued to point to his helmet. I think he's having some comms issues. He's spending a lot of time watching the signalers over on the sidelines and working on getting his comms right.
Well, you're just trying to keep your composure. I mean, this is a coaching moment. This stuff is going to happen in games sometimes. Obviously, if you're Texas, you'd rather those comm issues happen in a game against a team like San Jose State. But right now, it seems like the offense just executing at a very high level, and he's doing a good job operating.
Third down and 19. Manning steps up in the pocket. He wants every bit of it, but it overthrows to Ryan Wingo out of the back of the end zone, covered by Appellate Williams.
Well, a little bit of pressure on Manning here forces him to step up, and I thought he might have had a chance to take off and run and see what he could have got, but when you've got someone with the speed Wingo has on the outside, had a step on the defender, ball just a little bit overthrown. Texas's offense on the bench. Wingo knows he had one there if he had a little bit of a better throw.
So that brings on Jack Baumeister, who's excellent in spots like this, pin punching with the back rotation. Began his career at Michigan State, didn't see the field, moved on to Utah, was a Ray Guy finalist, grew up in Australia playing cricket and Aussie football, and now here he is as the Horns punter. And again looking to drop it inside, but it goes into the end zone. So Manning just missed, but a good first half he's had with 180 yards and 4 touchdown passes and a 28-7 lead for number 7 Texas. Hey, you know about it. All the ESPN One Place is the new enhanced app. The direct-to-consumer enhanced ESPN app. You get everything. If it is on ESPN, ABC, you get everything. A day like today, later on, we're going to be watching Michigan and Oklahoma while we're traveling. You're in and out of airports right there on your app. And if you get ESPN in any way, it's no added cost. Just download the enhanced app.
I'm not hating, by the way. I like the striped overalls.
Well, we can hook you up. We can take care of you.
Bringing out the 2-year-old in all of us.
The Jay Palmer line should expand to having overalls as Bates takes the carry. Give it a consideration. Good move by Bates as he goes ahead.
Really strong run by Bates this time. I've been impressed with how physical they've been. They get him into the second level, and he's bouncing off of Anthony Smith, breaking tackles, staying in bounds, giving it a little bit to Michael Taft. This is a huge drive for San Jose State, Joe. About 5 minutes left. If they could find a way to score a touchdown here, remember, they're getting the ball back first in the second half.
13-yard run by Bates. Bates had the touchdown run just moments ago. Here's Eget off the edge. There was pressure, but he gets away from it. Now directing traffic downfield and has to go underneath to Scholes. Scholes has been one of his big targets here in this first half.
There have been a few times we've seen Colin Simmons coming off the edge like that, and Umozolo that time had a shot at him too. Sorry, that was Brad Spence. And they just haven't been able to corral Walker Eget. Good job by Eget extending the play and keeping it alive.
So second down and 7. Eget looking left, feels confident to take a strike, but it's incomplete. Intended target was Scudero.
And they barely missed that. We got to take a look at that again because that just went through Scudero's hands. It looks like he was trying to drag a foot going down. And the second time in this game, Scudero has been able to get behind the defense. An opportunity for a big play, and now a big 3rd and 7 for San Jose State's offense.
3rd down and 7. Simmons was right in the face of Eget, who goes downfield, and an effort was made. Incredible effort by Smith over a defender that was Kobe Black. And Leland Smith with an incredible catch. Watch this.
He was such a big get for them out of the portal of Purdue. 6'4" ball underthrown. He pins it on the back of Black's head.
Wow.
We're going to look at this again to see when he took possession of the football and where he was in relation to the sideline.
He pins it against the helmet of Kobe Black, stays with it as he's falling backwards and secures it. Leland Smith
He made an unbelievable catch in a one-on-one situation against Central Michigan last week. I want to know, when does that ball finally, does he have full control and possession of this? Because you don't have it pinning it against the helmet. It's got to come into his right hand.
Watch the sideline here. Does he have full control and possession while he's still in bounds?
He has it.
Does the ball even move? Or is the ball firmly held in the hand against the helmet and then secured by the right hand? Does the ball ever jostle and move here? We've got Matt Austin, our rules expert. What can you tell us, Matt?
Joe, Jesse's correct. It's not firm control if you have one hand on it and the other hand's on the helmet. It's when he gets full control on the ground. And what the replay official's looking at is he sliding out of bounds before he gets that second hand on the ball?
Because he gets it in his other right hand. There's two areas. One, when he pulls it off the helmet, but I don't know if he has control of it until he secures it into his body. They're going to have to determine when he actually had full, complete, continuous control, as Matt's talking about, because he slides out of bounds. And so at what point does he have control? Not right there. He's in bounds now. He still doesn't have full control of it. Now it moves over to the right hand there. Now, does it move from that point? Is there a wiggle? Is there a bobble? I think that's what you're kind of looking at.
Right now, it stands
Jesse,
as a 37-yard reception. Matt?
Yeah, when he gets both those hands on the ball, that could be considered firm control. It looks right in one shot like his helmet was still off the ground. So since the ruling was a catch, I haven't seen anything clear and obvious to overturn.
Man, Matt, if this stands, that could be the best catch you see all college football season this year.
It's unbelievable for so many reasons. First of all, the body control right midair.
After video review, it is an incomplete pass. The receiver did not have firm control until he was out of bounds. It'll be 4th down and 7 at the 36-yard line, and the clock will start on the snap.
So Dan Gotro and this SEC crew say he didn't have firm control until he was out of bounds. But let me tell you something. Leland Smith, well done.
Well, they obviously saw something in the replay conclusively that allowed them to overturn that call, and that's a big one too, because if that's upheld, they're now down knocking inside the red zone with an opportunity to score a touchdown. Now there's still 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Arch Manning about to get the ball back, and they've got 3 timeouts.
So with that being ruled an incompletion, Carrizosa on to punt away, and Ryan Niblett is set to return from the 20-yard line. Niblett calls for a scatter as it takes a San Jose bounce all the way inside the 10-yard line. And with that break, we can check in with Kevin.
That State Farm halftime report just minutes away. Booger McFarland, Kevin Nagani here with you in studio, keeping an eye on a handful of ranked teams, including Penn State, Illinois, and Iowa State. Another ranked team that's impressing us right now, Boog, that is Florida State. Tommy Castellanos. It's all about the big play for the Seminoles so far.
Yeah, we know Tommy can run the football, but if they can throw the football like this, they become a national championship contender. Big ball there from Tommy Castellanos.
82-yard touchdown pass to Deuce Robinson. Right now, Florida State in complete control. Back to you, Tess and Jesse.
Yeah, Boog and Kevin, that Florida State offense looks a lot different with Castellanos, a quarterback. The defense also, Joe, much improved with Tony White now running the show on that side of the football. They were outstanding a week ago against Alabama. They're different on both sides of the ball.
Here's Manning from his own 1-yard line as he threw it to the feet of Ryan Wingo. You and I were down there last week for Alabama and Florida State. We spent a lot of the week with people asking us, hey, what was that? What do we think of Alabama? What do we think of Florida State? And you just hit on it. You got 2 new coordinators who have really done a good job.
I want to go back to that throw there. We talked about mechanics. That keeps coming up. And that time, poor mechanics by Manning. His feet were way too spread apart when he let go of that football, and that forced it to nosedive on him. So he's got to stay with it. He's got to stay on balance, and he's got to keep reminding himself to go through his checklist each and every play.
Take us through that, Jesse. Explain that further.
On this dig throw here, I mean, this is a throw he should make in his sleep. And look at his feet now. They're underneath him really nice. And it's too much of a stride. He gets too wide open. And this ball just torpedoes into the ground. A really nice job working through the progression, getting his eyes in the right place. But accuracy drops if your feet aren't staying in line with everything that you're trying to do. And I think this is just something that for Arch Manning is going to have to continue to work on. Just that lead foot spreading out a little too far, opening him up too much instead of stepping more toward the target. I think affecting the accuracy there for Manning.
Timeout was called by Texas, 3:51. We had an interesting conversation with that guy right there, Steve Sarkisian, one of the great offensive minds of the generation. He made a comment about today versus last week in terms of the offense, because he was saying, last week he felt like he called an NFL-style game. And he said to us, our offense needs to be our offense in this game. And the key to that is execution, staying ahead of chains, and playing clean. We've seen much more of the Texas style of offense in this game in the play calling. C.J. Baxter bottled up.
Yeah, it's Lakio that time making a big play in the backfield. And so another big moment here for San Jose State. I know it feels like this game's gotten away from them with all the turnovers and the success Arch Manning has had here in the second quarter throwing the football. But if San Jose State calling a timeout right here, they understand, hey, if we get a stop on 3rd and long, we get the ball back with 2 timeouts. Plenty of time left to try and score some points and, gain some momentum and take that into halftime.
It's interesting to sit back and spend a week with Texas coming off of, obviously, the Ohio State game where, we've said it, everybody said it. It's just the hype and the scrutiny, both on the front end and the back end with Arch Manning, was absolutely ridiculous. The guy playing on the road in that kind of environment, throwing his first passes in a road environment. Yes, of course he wanted to play much better. Yeah. But, even using words like Heisman before we've even started a college football season, it just got out of control.
Expectations were, in my opinion, probably unfairly high. But I have been impressed watching Arch here. I know things didn't start great for him in the first 2 drives, but he's really settled in. For the most part, mechanics have been a lot better. He's also getting a lot more help. Offensive line giving him a lot of pass protection. Guys wide open downfield making plays.
They're 1 for 4 on 3rd down today. This is a 3rd and 11. Manning off the hands of Aaron Butler.
Well, that's the play San Jose State needed on defense. Nice job by Caleb Presley and coverage on the outside. He was a 4-star, Joe, coming out of high school. The #1 player ranked in the state of Washington. Bama wanted him. Oregon wanted him. Notre Dame wanted him. Nice job there sitting in the hip pocket of Aaron Butler. Forces the incompletion. And now San Jose State, they're going to have an opportunity with the ball back at midfield to try and steal some points at the end of this half.
Perhaps they come after Jake Baumeister, the punter, who's 8 yards deep into his own end zone. He is able to get it off, and Thomas will have a chance for the return from the 49, so it'll be excellent field position for the Spartans. 28-7 behind 4 touchdown passes by Arch Manning. And for 20 years, All-State has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund supporting all student athletes. And we thank All-State for that.
This is field position, Joe, you can't waste if you're San Jose State, and you've got to score a touchdown. They've had field goal kicking woes. We saw it last week against Central Michigan. Brutal miss early in this game. I think if you're Coach Ken in San Jose State right now, you're being aggressive, knowing that touchdowns are going to get you back in this game, not field goals.
Jabari Bates, as he is ridden down by Colin Simmons, gets it down at the 35-yard line.
And you can take your time and bleed the clock, too, if you're San Jose State, right? I mean, you don't want to be in a rush and then give it back to Arch Manning again. Just you can run the ball, run your entire offense, 2 timeouts in your back pocket, plenty of time.
Egan on 2nd and 5. Good protection. Pitch and catch. Scudero first down. Ball came out at the end. Texas is playing it as a live ball. Jelani McDonald on the return for the Horns.
It was Anthony Hill who forced the fumble, and Jelani McDonald scooped it up. Scudero looks like he's still down on the ground after that play, but another massive takeaway from Texas's defense.
Scudero He's slow to get up, but fumble recovery and return by Jelani McDonald.
Well, he's the impact player, Scudero is. You see Hill, 240 pounds, hitting a 175-pound receiver. That ball came out right away. Jelani McDonald, Johnny on the spot. Another country fumble, scoops it up, and he's running down the sidelines.
You see Anthony Hill. Matt, the way Anthony Hill came in there almost looked like a right cross to the face.
Yeah, the right arm looks like he's wrapping up. Is it a blow to the head? I don't think certainly that was his intent. I think he's just coming and trying to dislodge the ball.
The ruling on the field is a catch, fumble, recovered by the defense. The previous play is under video review.
So it doesn't sound to me like they're looking at this from, a targeting standpoint or anything, but they're just looking to see if that ball in fact came out before his knees went down.
Well, Matt will give you the opportunity to adjudicate here.
Yeah, what replay's looking at here is, does he have firm control, and does he sustain that control long enough to make a football act? Those acts are the time factor. Does he have time to tuck the ball away? Does he have time to turn upfield? Does he have time to take additional steps? This one's very close. I don't think he really had full control of that ball, and so Matt, probably should be an incomplete pass.
Matt, I got a question for you. When they're looking at that in replay, I know they didn't call a penalty for targeting on the play, but when they're looking at replays like that, and if someone were to decide, you know what, maybe that was a targeting foul, is that something that they can correct after the replay?
Oh, yes, certainly. You can create targeting anytime you want to. And really, once you're in a review...
After video review, the call on the field is upheld. First down, Texas.
Yeah, once you're in a review, any aspect of a play that's reviewable, you could look at. So targeting would certainly be one of those.
Man, Anthony Hill, I think that's his second forced fumble in this game so far. We're talking about one of the most versatile linebackers in the game, and he is making his presence felt in a lot of different ways. Just don't see a lot of guys at that size, 6'3", 240 pounds, that can run like he does.
See Anthony Hill showing his teammates exactly what he did with that big right hand. And now Ryan Wingo showing you the speed on the edge as he darts ahead close to that line to gain.
Here's Hill showing it again on the sidelines. I mean, this is a guy that he's watching his good work on the monitor. A guy that was the #1 ranked inside linebacker coming out of high school. All-American, seems destined to be a first-round pick.
He's so impressive, by the way, when you sit with it. SEC Media Days, I sat with the kid one-on-one for about a half an hour. I walked away saying that's exactly what every coach wants on their team. He is dynamic on the field and off the field. C.J. Baxter carries it ahead to move the chains.
Now, conversely for Texas here, trying to steal some more points at the end of the half. You're going to go to the 2-minute timeout. Still two timeouts in your back pocket, so plenty of time for this Texas offense here down inside the 40.
2-minute timeout. It's been all Texas. Arch has 4 touchdown passes. Texas is on the go with an opportunity before half for more as we continue on this all SEC day on ABC. It starts here in Austin. What a great scene this always is. The greatest seat in sports is brought to you by Goodyear here on this Saturday in Austin, Texas. San Jose State and the #7 Texas Longhorns. San Jose State 1-7 all time against the SEC. They did have a win against Arkansas back in 2019. This is a very different beast, though. C4, C.J. Baxter. And it'll be a first down for the Horns.
We got 2 pullers, DJ Campbell and Brandon Baker, coming this way. And Baker's going to get up on a linebacker, and that opens up the crease. Big boy football up front, right in your kitchen.
Here goes Baxter again, as a little bit of tempo from the Texas offense to the 15-yard line.
I'll tell you, I think there's a different physicality for Texas this year up front on the offensive line, Joe. I know, again, a lot more inexperience than what they had last season. And, it's hard when you're replacing the 9th pick of the draft at left tackle and Kelvin Banks now playing for the Saints. But this group early this year through a game and a half, they're pushing guys around.
All 4 offensive linemen who went off to the NFL made the NFL. And now this reworked offensive line as C.J. Baxter runs behind. Of course, Trevor Gooseby, the left tackle now, he's 6'7", 312 pounds, and can do a 360 dunk.
Yeah, and a guy that was forced into action last year because of injuries, played most of the Texas A&M game and all of the Georgia game at left tackle, played most of the Clemson game in the playoff. at right tackle. He's been in big games before, no question, and that experience certainly helps them here.
3rd and 3. Manning extends the play. It may have gotten hit as he throws, and it's picked off by Appellate Williams at the 1-yard line. Isaiah Rivas was involved there, getting a hand on Arch Manning, but Jalen Appellate Williams with the interception as Manning's throw was affected by Rivas.
And that was an awful decision that time by Arch Manning, and that's something he's got to know in that situation. In the red zone, you're throwing this away. Safety blitz, Rivas in your face, live to play another down. That goes into the 3rd row. You just can't force it, throw it late out wide to the boundary. He's lucky this wasn't a pick 6. Coachable moments. Yes, Arch Manning's thrown 4 touchdowns early in this game, and that's the positive, but there have been some things that he's going to have to continue to learn from as well, and it's important to remember, obviously, only a sophomore, still a young player, but he knows he's played enough football to know better than to do that.
So a missed opportunity for Texas to add to their lead before halftime. Egan get it underneath to Tully Tagovailoa. As we mentioned, Tua's first cousin. Miami's playing at Indy Sunday for Tua Tagovailoa. Here's the pick.
He's trying to throw that, and obviously the safety, Rivas, hits his arm, and that's part of why it falls short. But just sort of understanding situations and awareness on the field where you are.
Egan, should have been caught by Leland Smith. Leland Smith, who made one of the most unbelievable efforts we've seen, and then drops that.
Yeah, and again, we've just seen big opportunities not work out as a flag's on the field.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 1, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
That's a really bad penalty by Colin Simmons that time. He did a great job splitting a double team, and at the end, just frustrated he didn't get there. And the extracurricular activity you don't need. Look at this right here. Does an amazing job getting through that, but when the ball's out, you got to let it go.
By the way, 2 timeouts. Ball's on the 40-yard line with 12 seconds to go. This looked like it was going to be another touchdown for Texas moments ago. San Jose State could get on the board before halftime here. 6 Texas penalty for 70 yards. And that ball is complete to the 32-yard line of Tagovailoa.
There should have been a penalty called for leaping, I think, right here by Anthony Hill Jr. at linebacker. You're not allowed to jump over a player. I don't know if you're going to see this. He comes into your screen. No, you don't see it there. From the right-hand side, he was coming on a delayed blitz right here. Like, he literally tries to just hurdle the running back on his way in. I'm surprised that wasn't called for leaping.
Timeout used by San Jose State as they got the ball down quickly to the 32-yard line with the help from the penalty.
I mean, at this point, Joe, if you're Coach Ken, do you even think about field goal based on all the issues you've had and all the misses?
Now, Lynch has really struggled.
Yeah, points are big, but with 6 seconds left, you might have time for a bang-bang play here with 1 timeout left before you take your shot. But it's got to be quick because this pass rush is coming.
6 seconds to go in this first half. Egan does get it out quickly. It's incomplete. He was looking for Scholes. 3 seconds remain.
Well, we talk about, the run and shoot principles on offense and how receivers are often adjusting their routes based on what the coverage is. That time, not on the same page with Walker Egan. Now you see San Jose State coming out for the dreaded field goal attempt. It has been an adventure early this year for the USC transfer, Dennis Lynch.
Dennis Lynch, who had 2 opportunities and then had an opportunity earlier today. He's gotten into a little bit of a bad habit of coming across his body on his contact point, and that is not well struck again. You see that X-ball style and it leaking out to the right, and that's when the contact point isn't good and you're coming across, as was the case again for Dennis Lynch. So he's 0 for 4 to start this season. Another missed opportunity for San Jose State. That's who everybody's going to be talking about now at the half, analyzing Manning. Here's Sark with Katie.
Thanks, Tess. Sark, there was a lot to like in that first half, but what did you see on that interception in the red zone?
Well, we had a breakdown of protection, and that's part of the growing pains as a young quarterback. Sometimes you got to know when to eat it.
4 takeaways on defense. What have you seen from that group?
Well, we really challenged them coming into the game. We wanted to get after the football. They've taken it to heart. They're getting after the ball. We turn those into points for the most part, too.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Arch Manning, 11 of 18, 180 yards, 4 touchdowns, but the aforementioned interception just before the half. Let's get you to State Farm halftime report with Kevin and Booker.
Tess, thank you so much.
Austin, the SEC on ABC. ABC College Football is presented by Starbucks. Number 7 Texas up 28-7. 4 Texas forced turnovers in the first half. That's the most and a half for them since 2017. Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer with you. Of course, though, the story, the focus, everything is Arch Manning today. Coach Sark said, hey, let's just make the easy plays easy this week. Assess him for us after we look at Bringing the Heat, brought to you by Sonic Smasher.
Well, Joe, I think for the most part, it's been pretty good. He got off to a slow start in the first 2 drives, but he's getting a lot of help from people around him. Really nice job here by the receivers. Wingo outside running a post, occupies 2 defenders. That opens up Livingston on the wheel route. Defender falls, and it's a long touchdown. The offensive line, for the most part, really nice job in pass protection. A bit of a crossing route concept here. Endry's the Cal transfer tight end, working his way all the way across, then up the seam for another score, and 4 TD passes for Manning. Feels good. But then with Manning, there have also been some misses, some throws you've got to be able to make in your sleep. This all at the end of the first half. There was a missed dig route to Wingo, and that's a terrible decision on 3rd down. You just got to eat the ball there or throw it away. So, you know, an incomplete grade, obviously, right now. Still a lot of football to play. Most of what Arch Manning has done, I think, in this game, Joe, has been really, really good, but obviously some coaching moments as well.
There are the numbers, the 4 touchdowns framed against the 1 interception when his hand was hit as he was throwing it towards the goal line by Revis, the safety, picked off by Apollo Williams. 21-point margin as we open up this second half.
Now, if you're San Jose State, you got to stop turning the football over. 4 turnovers in that first half. Coach Ken told us coming into this one, you can't give the game to Texas. It's going to be hard enough as it is going on the road, playing against that kind of talent. This was a team that led the FBS in giveaways a year ago. They need to do a much better job here in the second half. If they're going to have any chance of coming back in this game, stop giving the football away.
See the little 5'7" Jabari Bates behind Walker Egan. Bates has been in as the running back after the turnovers early on in this game from the Spartans. Quickly getting it out, getting it complete to Scholes, but he threw it behind him, so it actually turned him around. Katie.
Yeah, Tess, I think everybody can guess what Coach Ken had to say coming out of the locker room. He said, ball security, the turnovers are killing us. He said the fact that we've turned it over 4 times and are only down 3 possessions shows that we're fighting. He said we'll continue to fight here in the second half. And good news, Danny Scudero's okay, and he's back on the field for the second half, guys.
Katie, that's good to hear. He took a big hit on one of those turnovers, and Anthony Hill came in with his right hand in the second quarter. Scudero, of course, their biggest target offensively early this season. Here's Egan on 2nd and 8. Oh, he's pressured, and he just burned it straight ahead as he was ripped down by Murad Watson.
That's got to be intentional grounding.
Has to be, right? I mean, just threw it right into his center.
He's in the pocket, and a great job by the freshman All-American Syracuse transfer Watson getting home.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 5. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Loss of down, 3rd down.
That's a tremendous pass rush by Watson right here coming inside. He's a guy that got pushed around a little bit last week in their loss up at Ohio State. So he's playing with a little bit of fire, but he's showing you that natural athletic ability he has. And against an offensive line like this, Joe, that has big, wide splits, it's a chance for these D tackles to crease them and get in the quarterback's face.
A 3rd and 18. Feeling pressure again, launches it downfield, and that should have been interception by Gilbo. He had 1 in the first half. That was right in his hands, but Scholes turned into a defensive back at the end of that play.
Nice job by Scholes, because I'll tell you, Gilbo was like fielding a punt. He must have given a 15-yard cushion. You don't even see him in the screen right now. He's playing so far back with his eyes on the quarterback, goes up to high point it. Great job by Scholes, as you said, Joe, turning into a DB. to make sure that wasn't the 5th turnover of the game.
You see Pete Kwiatkowski, the defensive coordinator. He is loving that style of play. Carrizosa is punting from his own 3-yard line, his 3rd punt of the afternoon. As Niblett calls for the fair catch right at about the 47-yard line, and a flag is down back at the 18.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 17. The 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the post-scrimmage kick spot. First down, Texas.
Well, Arch Manning getting ready to take the field again here, Joe. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster day so far with Arch. Have you been watching him? Early first 2 drives, things not going great. Then he absolutely caught fire, throwing 4 touchdowns. End of the first half, not so great. And San Jose State did a better job getting pressure on him. And when he's been under duress in this game, he has struggled a little bit. 0 for 3. And obviously that critical interception at the end of the first half. So if you're the defensive coordinator, Derek Odom for San Jose State, I wonder if a plan change may be here to start trying to heat him up a little bit more with some blitzes, see if you can put him under duress.
Christian Clark in the backfield with Manning. Remember, Trey Wisner is not playing today. So Clark is the primary backup to C.J. Baxter.
I'll tell you that the one thing I like about San Jose State's defense, Joe, they're small, but they're scrappy. Like, they're very undersized on the D-line and at linebacker, but guys fly around like that guy right there, Jordan Pollard, 122 tackles a year ago. They're elusive. They don't let linemen block them, and they've got 7 starters back from a year ago, so everybody really understands the scheme. They know where to line up. You see the weight differential here between the O-line and D-line of these 2 units, but just because you're smaller doesn't mean you can't stop the run.
Yeah, Pollard, they listed just over 200 pounds. Here's Clark on 2nd and 8. It'll be a first down for Texas.
We're really excited to have Christian Clark back in the lineup now. Missed last year with an Achilles injury. He came out of high school as the number 3 ranked running back, and now he's getting a chance to get some more snaps, obviously, with the injury to Quintravion Wisner. Good job getting in there in the 2nd level and showing you a little bit of wiggle.
Tore that Achilles in fall camp last year. Pumped by Arch. Look at the time he has, but coverage downfield, and then he connects with Wingo.
And I think there may have been a missed opportunity there for Arch Manning to find Livingston on a post throw down the field. He's coming in motion. I think there was a spot for him. If he had just anticipated this throw a little bit sooner, he's faking it. He's looking at the wheel. It's not there right now. I think there's an opportunity for a big one, but you got to feel confident enough to anticipate that and throw it before your receiver comes out of his break.
First down at the 30-yard line for Texas. Clark again, and this time he is gobbled up and put down by Latu.
The good news, though, on that last play, even though he didn't take the shot, he knew where the check down option was, so he had a plan. He worked through 3 different receivers on the progression, and I think with Arch Manning, every game he's learning something new, and you only get that by reps, right? And you go back and you watch the film and you talk it through with Steve Sarkisian, but now, as this game goes on, there'll be a lot of coachable moments for Arch Manning. He's learning literally on the fly.
Yeah, you even saw that last week late in the game against Ohio State as he evades the would-be tackler and then got it right on the numbers to Washington, but he was awkwardly turning around trying to secure the ball, so it's incomplete.
But that's the stuff you can't coach. And we talked about San Jose State probably trying to dial up some more blitzes. There's a safety there, Paulette Williams, coming in scot-free from the right side. Arch Manning at 6'4", 225, able to make a miss. Is he going to run? Is he not? He's holding on to it, and that's an accurate throw. But Jordan Washington's got to be able to catch on the boundary.
And he turned his head just before he secured the ball, and thus the incompletion. 3rd down and 9.
And they have not been good on 3rd down in this game so far, Joe. 1 of 6.
Here's Moore on 3rd and 9. He barely makes it back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and they're going to come out and kick. That's one you're just trying to kind of get some linemen out there, make a catch, see if you can crease them into the 2nd level. But really good job by San Jose State's defense that time in the speed, rallying to the football, making a stop. Now setting up a field goal try.
For Mason Shipley, as you see, DeAndre Moore needing some help to get off the field. That is not a good sign. One of their best overall skill position players. Mason Shipley, field goal kicker coming out here. Interesting story. He wasn't even offered out of high school. Took a gap year. Was working at Discount Tire and Amazon as a delivery driver and sending out videos to colleges. And now his college football career has taken him here to Austin, and he puts it through from 47 yards out. 31-7. Katie will be checking on DeAndre Moore as a field goal drive for Texas increases their lead here in Austin. Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title. Live Más student section of the year. Who's going to take home the trophy this year? I mean, what a place to go to school here in Austin. And you know, on a Saturday night here, whether you're at the Victory Lap or Cain and Abel's, or probably Crown and Anchor would be more your vibe, Jess.
I just feel like something in a glass that's dark.
Yeah.
I would just kind of, you know, from preferably from Kentucky. Yeah.
Mixed with like a nice greasy burger and some fries in the middle of a college football Saturday afternoon.
That's totally my deal.
That's living right there.
My dojo.
SEC all day on ABC, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. Ole Miss taking on Kentucky. And then Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Number 15 Michigan against number 18 Oklahoma, which is an interesting quarterback battle. Of course, the transfer, Mateer coming to Oklahoma, the prized recruit to Michigan and Underwood. I'm looking forward to that one, Jess.
Talented quarterbacks against really good defensive minds. Mateer, one of the best dual threats in the nation at Oklahoma, going up against Wink Martindale, the DC from Michigan. That is going to be a blitzathon.
Floyd Chalk back in the game at running back, and a good run to get this possession going for San Jose State. There is the situation for Texas as DeAndre Moore, one of their starting receivers, went down awkwardly at the end of that last play.
Yeah, it was a bit of a gang tackle there. You see on third down, there's bodies. He's getting landed upon right on the football, and he's a big-time weapon, Joe. You had mentioned that. Playing in the slot, he's a guy that can make plays vertically in the passing game, so a big loss for Texas, no question.
Egan gets the ball out quickly to Scholes.
Yeah, timing is so important in this passing attack, and they've been a bit off time in the first half. Right there, though, a good example of quarterback taking his steps, throwing it right away, Scholes turning around and making the catch, something that makes offensive coordinator Craig Stutzman pretty happy. But that timing, getting rid of it quick, that's a big key in the second half, because Texas knows they're going to be throwing it. These D linemen, they are pinning their ears back.
He get on 2nd and 3, and an easy pitch and catch as he gets it complete for a first down as he connects with Jackson Kanan.
And right now, Danny Scudero, just 3 catches in the game. We talked about him. He's the most explosive player on this offense. They just have to find a way to get him more touches. They've taken 2 deep shots. They weren't able to hit on either. But you got to keep moving him around. You got to keep putting him in motion, giving him stack releases and giving him access. He's working against a true freshman, a very talented one, in Littleton in the slot.
There's that matchup against Grayson Littleton. He's going to have a huge future here in Austin. There's Scudero against Littleton. Littleton, the 4-star recruit who's already over-delivered, a total film junkie.
Oh my gosh. And I was so impressed watching him last week. There were times I'm watching that game and I'm thinking, oh no, he's lined up against Jeremiah Smith, the best offensive player in college football. What's going to happen? And he manned him up one-on-one, and he won those battles down the field. That was remarkable for a true freshman to do that in that big of a game.
When he was being recruited here to Texas, somebody interviewed his mom, Grayson's mom, and she said Grayson was the one interviewing the coaches, not the other way around. He wanted to interview them as to scheme and how they saw football and how he was going to go about his week of film, and she was laughing over it, said it was the reverse of the process.
Well, it speaks to how well Steve Sarkisian's been able to recruit, and they've lost 23 NFL draft picks, Joe, in the last 2 years. That's the second most ever. But when you're constantly bringing in top 5 classes, the last 4 years, you were able to replace a lot of that talent. And Grayson Littleton, a guy that played so well in camp, making a big impact for Texas early this season.
3rd down and 10. They go with the screen to Scudero, and Scudero is taken down by Michael Taft.
That is such a good tackle on a guy that is so squirmy. It is not easy to bring Scudero down out in the open field, but Michael Taft, a guy who began his career at Texas as a walk-on, turned into a second-team All-American a year ago, just comes flying downhill. And that is a very difficult thing to do. Great job being physical at the point of attack that time by Anthony Smith, forcing Scudero to go outside. But Taft's there, able to clean it up.
Texas defense forcing the 4th punt of the afternoon for Carrizosa. Niblett calls for the fair catch around the 7-yard line. Arch Manning loosening up. More from Austin when we return.
ABC College Football, presented by Starbucks, is brought to you by Ram Trucks, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff. Nothing stops Ram.
Truly one of the most memorable teams, if not memorable games in college football history. Last time Texas won a national championship. Mack and that team in the 06 Rose Bowl defeating USC.
So much NFL talent. Michael Griffin, Michael Huff, Jamal Charles. But Joe, to me, that game by Vince Young, the single greatest game I think I've ever watched a quarterback play.
Just the energy that night. And of course, the way it finished up. And now this team, this roster, loaded to try to claim a national championship. Incomplete as Manning was looking for Livingston.
Yeah, one thing Steve Sarkisian likes to do is take shots deep down in his own end. San Jose State that time ready for it. They wanted Wingo on a double move post to the outside. That wasn't there, but a nice job by Rivas. He's played a good game. Remember, he was the guy that got pressure on Arch Manning that forced the interception at the end of the first half. So on the back end of the Spartans defense, they are flying around.
Arch gets it out quickly to Livingston. Livingston is tackled right near the line of scrimmage to the guy who had the interception, Appellate Williams.
Yeah, and again, you're seeing the speed sideline to sideline and the experience. Appellate Williams is a captain on this defense, and these guys are just rarely out of position. And right now, with the big 3rd and long, an opportunity to get the football back. I've been impressed with the fight and the energy that San Jose State's defense has played with in this one.
3rd down and 10. They're going to pressure Arch. Hey, he's taken down. The ball came out right at the goal line. A strip sack as it was Tufa Tufoa.
It was Vili Taufat Tofoa coming around the outside, one-on-one
The ruling on the field
with the tight end.
is a fumble recovered by the offense at the 1-yard line.
Jordan Washington is having a rough time here. Remember, he dropped that ball on the sideline earlier. That time gets completely beat around the outside.
By the way, Jordan Washington recovering this and laying on top of one of his players allows him to take the ball and move forward with it and reach it out of the end zone.
Well, half of his body was in the end zone, but the ball was out, and he's lucky for that. After giving up that pressure, he better have fallen on that to save a little bit of this, but Texas barely avoids disaster.
Bomeister from the end zone. Thomas on the return. So the Texas offense a little choppy here in the middle of this 3rd quarter. 31-7, San Jose takes over the Texas 38 when we return. Let's go back to those last 3 plays of the Texas offense.
Yeah, not very good here. On the first down play, there's a missed throw and a deep crossing route, incomplete. The second play is just a quick one outside, but Ryan Niblett can't get a block, and it's a minimal gain. And then the tight end, Jordan Washington, completely whiffs and pass pro, and it's a sack fumble. Texas's offense started the game slow, and they're starting the third quarter slow as well. And that's got to be a point of emphasis moving forward, is to start faster.
And now Ratcliffe on the carry for San Jose State is tracked down by Trey Moore, who had the fumble return in the first half.
And so, you know, starters obviously still in the game for Steve Sarkisian here. And you're wondering, like, how many reps does Arch Manning need to have? And I think as we're sitting here watching the game, you obviously keep him in. They haven't put San Jose State away yet. They're up 24 points. It doesn't feel like the Spartans are going to come back, but Arch Manning needs the reps to gain experience.
I mean, that's the fine balance here. It's not just the scoreboard. It's what you're trying to accomplish.
That's a double pass.
This should be, but instead they're going to, well, it just throws it away at the last second. There was so much traffic and pursuit that it just blew up. But anyways, back to the conversation on how you view the day of Arch, how you manage the second half. Yeah, you're up big, but have you accomplished what you're trying to accomplish with him? He's had some spectacular moments today. There's been some choppy play. There's been some bad moments. You wanted to make the easy plays easy. You want to gain experience and reps with him, Jesse. So as you described, that fine balance of how you manage things. Third down and 9. As you can hear the crowd here at DKR bubbling up in support of their defense. Egan, incomplete, as there was a little bit of pressure coming after him. Tully Tagovailoa was the intended receiver.
Yeah, it was Anthony Hill at 240 pounds coming off the edge, going up against a much smaller running back, trying to block him one-on-one. I think Walter Egan's eyes got big there. That ball just got tipped, broken up. They were going for Tagovailoa Mosa. And now it sets up fourth down, and this is absolutely the right call if you're San Jose State. You absolutely have to go for this. And Danny Scudero, to me, is going to have to be the guy.
Fourth down and 9. And a timeout is going to be used by Texas.
And I think, Joe, like to our conversation earlier about Arch Manning, right?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you'd love him to be 20 for 20 right now with 6 touchdown passes, obviously, and playing flawlessly. But I think if you're Steve Sarkisian, you know there's going to be so many coachable moments and so many learning moments for him. But he's also learning a lot about his quarterback right now, too. How resilient are you? How do you not only bounce back from the last game and the last performance out against Ohio State, but how do you respond when things aren't going so well like they are right now? Are you getting in the dumps on the sideline? Are you getting in your head? Or do you come back out and do you galvanize the offense and do you lead? I think these are things that this coaching staff is really watching right now as a coachable moment for Arch as well.
And Jess, you got to reflect, of course, on your personal experience of your level of development when you were at this stage as well, of how valuable it is to just be on there with game experience. You went through this.
There's no substitute for that. You just have to play the game and play the snaps and experience all this to learn from it.
Fourth down and 9 after the timeout by Texas. Egan, he wants more than 9 as he throws it out of bounds, incomplete. Again, Scudero, the intended target, and it's a turnover on down.
Yeah, there was a little bit of hand fighting there at the very end between them both, but that ball way out of bounds, not catchable. Nice job in the back end by Jelani McDonald on defense and coverage. I've been really impressed with the secondary in this game for Texas.
You know, we've had the conversation throughout the day of Arch Manning and the hyper-criticism and scrutiny and other prominent quarterbacks who went on to great success, who had a few struggles early on.
Yeah, no question. And it's all about putting games together and gaining experience, and you just improve. That's naturally what happens. And listen, the truth is, even if Arch Manning threw 10 touchdown passes today, Joe, no one would be sending him flowers. He's supposed to do that against San Jose State. I mean, the big next challenge is going to be on the road at Florida against the Gator defense. But this game and the next 2 as well, these are big opportunities for him to continue to grow as a quarterback and get more comfortable in this system and gain chemistry with his teammates.
C.J. Baxter on the carry. You know, obviously when you prep a game like this and you're coming off of you know, the national story with Arch Manning. Everybody's chiming in with an opinion. It was interesting to hear Coach Ken from San Jose State say how impressed he is with Arch as to just simply how he carries himself, his composure, his leadership of handling all the national scrutiny and attention. Play action. Manning on 2nd and 5 as he checks down underneath to C4, and Baxter is going to get just a couple of yards there. Franklin with the tackle.
I think that's another throw Arch Manning missed, and he's been a bit gun shy in this game, I think, throwing downfield. This time he has a deep crossing route, which I think breaks open, and he just has to have the confidence to take this shot. Right now you can lay it up. Put it up over top. This is a big play going down the sideline, and you know, I know when he watched the film against Ohio State, he felt he missed a couple opportunities down the field as well. Trusting your receivers to be able to make plays. It's one thing to do it in practice, but you got to give them opportunities in games. And when you do that, you take those shots more and more often.
3rd down and 3, A-gap pressure. He's going to try to use his feet, dodge a defender, and he goes ahead for just a yard, so it'll be 4th down. Katie?
You know, Jesse, to your question about Arch's demeanor, there's been no level of frustration when the offense has come over to the sidelines. He's very steady and almost methodical. He comes to the bench, he sits with his quarterback group, he goes over the clips on his iPad. So he's just been very, very steady. There's no panic, frazzle, or frustration.
Yeah, Katie, it reminds me a lot of his uncle Eli, who I played with the New York Giants. Just always very even keel. One of the most impressive things about him throughout his great career.
Here's 4th and 2 from their own 45. Baxter on 4th down as he goes ahead and will move the chains for Texas. Of course, 4th down was a major storyline last week.
Yeah, it was, and also at times last year too. And I think having Baxter in the lineup now and having that bruiser, that big running back in those short yardage situations is massive. Last week you mentioned it, Joe, struggled on 4th, 1 for 5 against Ohio State.
4
having
turnovers
Baxter
on downs
out.
last week. That was the most in the game by Texas since their 2017 opening loss that year to Maryland. Manning with time to go downfield and does get it complete to Livingston, and Livingston settles in down at the 10-yard line as a flag comes in late.
Block in the back. Offense, number 14. The 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. Texas still made the line to gain. First down.
There was a great job in protection that time by Nick Townsend, the true freshman tight end. He's going to come over here and pick this blitz up and absolutely stone it. And this was critical to Arch Manning getting this pass off. That is an outstanding job by a true freshman stepping up in a difficult blitz pickup and giving Arch Manning some time.
You know, it's interesting, when we talked to Arch yesterday, we said, who are the other players that nobody's talking about? He said the way Nick Townsend sacrifices his body as a true freshman. He specifically said it, and you saw it there. Manning with time, but does he have an option? Gonna run now. And he does so inside the 10, turns the corner, keeps his balance, and scores. The athleticism of Arch Manning.
And that's the stuff you simply can't coach with Arch Manning and that running ability. At 6'4", 220, he's got the ability to make people miss in the open field. That time, Ethan Powell had a clean shot at him. He didn't even come close to touching him. And then he keeps his balance. We're going to take a look back at the progressive pylon cam to make sure this crosses the end zone and is a score right here at the end. Nice job blocking out wide by Dylan McCutcheon. He's got the ball in the right hand. Now it's in the left. Right foot in, left foot in, stretches it over the pylon. That's 6. Tremendous individual effort there by Arch Manning.
You know, you talk to Arch, and listen, you can always go through all the Mannings and the different levels of athleticism, but Arch will say, hey, give credit to my mom, Ellen. Said the athleticism, the speed, She was incredible at track and field and volleyball and soccer. She was an all-district selection as a high jumper. She led Sacred Heart High to their first state title in volleyball. And he will always say, it's Mom, it's Ellen.
Which is funny because Coop was a really good wide receiver himself in his own right.
20-yard touchdown run by Arch.
Yeah, listen, his deep ball throwing ability and the running ability, in my opinion, is what makes this offense a lot more dangerous than it was a year ago. And he just has that awareness. I think he should do more of this. When guys aren't open downfield, just have the clock go off in your head. I'm going to tuck it and go get what I can. He's a big, strong runner. Hard to bring down, great contact balance. You saw that on his touchdown run late in the season last year against Texas A&M. And you see it again right there. Again, coachable moments we talked about. How would he respond? The offense not doing great the last couple of drives out. He looked really, really good, composed, running the offense. And as Coach Sark says, making the easy things easy.
That's it. That was the goal today. Make the easy plays be easy. That's what Sark said to Arch Manning all week long. That's what he said to anybody who asked, what do you want to achieve today? 4 touchdown passes, that touchdown run. Yes, the interception before halftime. Yes, some teachable moments. But a 38-7 lead for the Longhorns. Let's go to the studio to Kevin.
Tess, we're keeping fans connected as we take a look at our multi-view, which is showcasing a bunch of great games events across our networks. Illinois Duke update right now, 28-19 over on ESPN. UConn with a surprising lead on ESPN Plus over Syracuse. Of course, you can get all of this right on the new ESPN app as we are counting down just over an hour away from the U.S. Open Championship on the women's side. Sabalenka versus Anisimova. You get that 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Back to you, Tess.
Sabalenka, Anisimova is going to be a thriller. And then, of course, Alcaraz and Sinner tomorrow.
Yeah. Appointment television.
It is indeed. It's been an awesome run. By the way, how about Katie George going from being the lead volleyball analyst to the lead primetime U.S. Open reporter to the ABC college football reporter?
And when you say primetime, I mean, she's working till 3 in the morning over at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Me blush. Stop.
Unbelievable. How many hours are in your day, Katie?
A lot.
I want your private jet.
I thought volleyball was long. Tennis is much longer.
Yeah. Thursday night till about 3 a.m. and then coming down here to have a meeting with Arch and Sark. Here is Egan on the run, dives ahead for a first down. As we come to the end of this third quarter, the highlight being Arch Manning and his 20-yard touchdown run and a 38-7 lead. The SEC on ABC, presented by Starbucks, returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Straight from the greatest seat in sports, the Goodyear blimp brings you the view. Still, always, forever. And the view is an SEC Saturday that begins in Austin as you're watching the SEC on ABC. Texas starting this fourth quarter of their home opener up 38-7 on San Jose State. Under Coach Sark, they're outscoring opponents by an average score of 45-10 in home openers, and they're in complete control here against the Spartans. Arch Manning 4 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown run, and it was an impressive one. First play of the fourth quarter, Jabari Bates for the Spartans goes ahead just beyond the 40.
And if you're Walker Egan right now, you're thinking, okay, fourth quarter, we're down 31. They know we're throwing it virtually every play. There's a player down. That's not good, Joe.
And that is Colin Simmons, one of the most important players on the entire roster.
Wow. And so if you're Steve Sarkisian right now, after that, you're starting to ask yourself, how much longer are we leaving starters in the game? Up 31, second game of the season. Deshaun Alexander, freshman of the year, is now down on the ground. Our best pass rusher. We've already seen DeAndre Moore leave the game for Texas earlier. These are all the decisions that Steve Sarkisian right now is talking with his coaches about. Okay, who do we got going in? What are we thinking in terms of playing some of these less experienced players?
Remember, still to come is Ole Miss and Kentucky right here on ABC. Molly McGrath gets us set. Molly?
Hi,
Hi, Tess. I'm here in Lexington watching Ole Miss's quarterback Austin Simmons go through his warm-up routine, and you would never know that this is his first career SEC road start because he is so locked in. And head coach Lane Kiffin said it's that poise and his elite arm strength that reminds him of a player who he recruited at Alabama named Tua Tagovailoa. And Jesse, that is some very high praise.
It really is, but Tua didn't look like him, Molly. This guy's 6'4", 215. He skipped his last 2 years of high school, pitched on the baseball team as a freshman, 20 strikeouts. I feel bad for that wall.
Bates is gobbled up and tackled right there by Smith. So that is coming your way. Kentucky going to be able to match points with Ole Miss?
Well, their defense is going to have to really pick it up. That was the key when they beat Ole Miss a year ago. Their D-line totally dominated that game, but the slowdown, Kwan Lacey running it, and Logan Diggs, that's a tall order for Kentucky's defense in this one.
So Colin Simmons in the medical tent. Katie will work to get us some information as to what's going on with the elite edge rusher for Texas who came off the field moments ago. 3rd down and 4 without Colin Simmons on the field. Egan, as he looks the way of Scudero, as he wants to do time and again, and it's a 1st down for the Spartans.
You know, I've been impressed just watching the secondary of Texas. They haven't given up any big ones deep down the field. And you lose Jade Barron, the Thorpe Award winner, as the nation's outstanding DB from a year ago. They still bring back 4 guys with tons of experience to a unit that had 22 picks a year ago. This, Joe, is still the strength, the back end of Texas's defense. It's remarkable, and they played well today.
Yeah, then the true freshman Grayson Littleton comes in. See, you got the experience, and then you reload, and there's the quick strike to Scholl.
But even stuff like that, Joe, tackling the catch. I mean, the windows to throw into against this defense are so small. Michael Taft limping off the field, that's not good. That's a big leader in the back of the defense who just made the tackle right there, but everybody on the back end here so dialed in and locked in on what Pete Kwiatkowski's trying to do defensively.
See Taft limp off the field. You see Colin Simmons in the medical tent. You think about their schedule. October 4th at Florida is the one you're circling right now when you look ahead. Egan, pressure on him, launches it downfield. Wide open was Scudero, but he threw it well out of bounds.
Well, that's the 2nd time they've missed him. They had Scudero on a wheel route, and it was the true freshman you were just talking about, Joe, Grayson Littleton, who actually got picked by Leland Smith. And that's a touchdown if the throw stays in bounds. And Walker Egan, normally an outstanding deep ball thrower, but he has been off the mark here today. Watch right here. I mean, you just got to hit him in stride, and he's going to walk in the end zone. And they missed him on a double move earlier in the game. They barely missed him a little bit later down the boundary. Walker Egan was 4 of 6 against Central Michigan on throws that traveled more than 30 yards down the field, but has not been accurate on deep balls today.
Craig Stutzman in the background, his 5th year quarterback, Walker Egan, the full-time starter now, his 2nd season, 7 starts a year ago. The offense that heavily leans on his arm. There's Taft limping off the field, a preseason first-team All-American, his 5th year of college football. You said it, Jesse, started as a walk-on, and he has become a star for Coach Sark. 2nd and 10. Egan downfield again. Scudero again running the same route. This time he was covered far better by Grayson Littleton.
Yeah, Littleton just right in his back pocket, and they're trying to go back shoulder here, but the true freshman just going stride for stride. There's a little bit of contact there at the end. I like the no call. He's just a young true freshman here who is just out competing with Texas in this back end.
Third down and 10. Quick strike. Scudero kept his balance, and he slithers free for a 1st down and more.
That's unbelievable. He makes the catch over the middle of the field. Great toughness. And then he has Xavier Filsaime barreling down on him. He's able to keep his balance. Watch this after the catch. Threw it. Here's Filsaime. He's able to spin, stay on his feet, and he almost splits Gilbo to take that in for a touchdown. Remarkable individual effort. And finally, they're able to get Scudero on a big play.
15 yards after the catch to move the chains for the Spartans. Fiery team that wants to show something late here against Texas. Boy, well covered was Jackson Kanan.
Well, Danny Scudero is a good one, and he transferred in from Sacramento State. And I think coaches might want to start looking at Sacramento State in the portal, because you remember who also used to play at Sacramento State? Cam Scadaboo, who absolutely lit it up for Arizona State a year ago. I mean,
even when I hear you say the name all these months later, there's a glow to you.
There is.
There's just a little.
I love saying the name Cam Scadaboo.
You do. You also wrote a lot of the. You were one of the authors of some of the postseason magic of Cam Scadaboo, Jesse. Floyd Chalk. Go ahead. You can do it just once. No. Just go ahead. There you go. Move on.
It never gets old. And he's playing for the New York Giants right now, which is legendary.
You can't love him enough.
I mean, I'm gonna be saying this for weeks and weeks to come, driving my wife crazy at home on Sundays.
Oh, that was such a fun ride with Arizona State covering them, of course, in the Big 12 championship, and then the all-time thriller against these Texas Longhorns, who had to fight back and show guts to win it in overtime in advance. 3rd down and 9. Going to keep it on the ground with Chalk, and Chalk gets it down close to the 10-yard line. So understanding 2 plays called immediately as they're quickly back to the line.
Yeah, Chalk's running harder now and angrier after fumbling earlier in the game. He was taken out of the game for a long stretch. He's getting his opportunity now and trying to make the most of it. Here's a critical 4th down. No Colin Simmons on the field for Texas, but they've got other guys, Trey Moore and etc.
By the way, the 13th play of the drive against this Texas defense. Egan on 4th down, it is tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it's a turnover on downs.
It was Leonga Lafau, number 18, who jumped up and knocked that thing down. I'm going to say this. I know Anthony Hill Jr. gets all the headlines, and he absolutely should. He's an outstanding player. Leonga Lafau is a big-time player with great instincts who makes plays. He'd be the star of so many defenses around college football. Texas's defenses look real good here today.
PM. That should be exciting against Sabalenka. I mean, the run she's had to go on to get through Swiatek and then beat Naomi Osaka, now taking on Sabalenka coming up on ESPN.
What is Sabalenka now? 3 straight finals and majors, and just her ground game from the baseline is ridiculous. I've watched her play in person. I know Katie's seen her in person. Physically so impressive.
Katie, you're done with your duties there, so make the prediction. What do you got? What do you got with Anisimova against Aryna Sabalenka?
I think if Anisimova keeps her head, it could be a 3-set match, just like we saw in the semifinals. Both semifinals were fantastic.
Here's Arch Manning connecting with Jordan Washington. Jordan Washington, who in pass protection compromised things earlier, now comes up with the 23-yard reception.
Yeah, and Arch Manning had a free rusher, and he felt that, so he had to speed himself up. But watched him this time get his feet underneath him. He feels the rush coming this way. Collect your feet. The arm follows. It's an accurate throw right in the face mask of Jordan Washington. Really nice job of the play speeding up for Arch Manning, but him not letting his mechanics get all out of control.
Manning able to survive a little bit of pressure and then drive the ball downfield and get it complete to Winston, one of the true freshman tight ends that they're super high on.
Yeah, and then you see the strength in the pocket that time of Arch Manning. He's really, really hard to bring down. Cole Hudson's having problems with Ciosi at nose tackle right here, but that one arm's not going to get it done. And he has the composure to keep the eyes downfield, throw one of those firm with an arc throws over top of Latu to his target.
Remember the conversation we were having just a few minutes ago about how you manage, as a flag dough at the end of the Gibson run, how you manage Arch Manning and what you want to try to achieve today.
Offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
And you're sitting here up 31 points in the 4th quarter, but there's work to be done.
Yep.
There's growth to be had, and there's reps that are valuable.
Yes, and not just for Arch, but for the rest of the starters on offense as well. And you see everybody still in the game on that offensive line with Arch, so they can get that continuity and chemistry. Again, every snap is a learning moment for Arch Manning. He needs to see defense. He needs to see coverages. He needs to see blitzes. He has to respond. Things need to go bad for him early in his career to learn from. And that's why I agree with the decision. You keep him in the game here as long as you can to get those reps.
You know, it's interesting if our flag comes down to hear you say things need to go bad, right? I'll go back to that quote that his father, Cooper Manning, said to Arch. We visited with Arch this week. We'll pick up the call here from Daniel Gautreaux.
Illegal shift. Offense, number 8. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
But Jesse, Cooper told Arch, if you're going to play big-time football, stuff like last week at Ohio State happens, and if you're lucky enough, it happens a lot in your career.
Yeah, because that means you played a long time.
You played a long time.
That's right, you play extra games. And so for Arch Manning, he's literally at the beginning of his learning curve. And I think today is a good example. You can see the talent. It's evident, throwing and running. There's lots of things that he'll improve on. He needs to.
Incomplete.
And that's one there. That's an easy throw.
Well, you know, guys, Steve Sarkisian, he said playing at Ohio State was great exposure for this team. He said, I'm glad we did it. He said, what if we never got that exposure in our SEC opener is at Florida in a month? With so many new starters at QB, especially on the offensive line, guys have now played in a hostile environment. They've dealt with crowd noise. They know what it's like to fall behind on the road and fight for possessions in the second half. So better to learn some of those lessons now than midway through the season.
Yeah, that's a great point, Katie, too. And to have that experience, and now you get games against San Jose State and UTEP and Sam Houston to get the confidence going before you go on the road to Gainesville.
And get it quickly to the outside to Wingo, and Wingo can't find anything.
And that's really, you know, a big key too, Katie, is getting Arch Manning comfortable, getting him confident, and getting him playing at a high level, because when you hit that schedule in the SEC, you're rolling. And there's some big tests. It's not just October 4th at Florida. You got the Red River rivalry. You've got on the road at Georgia, Texas A&M coming here at the end of the year. In order to run that gauntlet, number 16 on offense, he is going to have to be playing well.
3rd and 25. Manning was hit as he throws again, and that goes incomplete. Taufa Tofua was there defensively to get in on him.
One issue, Joe, I think Texas has had early this year is at right tackle right here. And Brandon Baker had a few false start penalties in the game against Ohio State. He didn't block the right guy in the last play of the game. And on that one there, you just got to be able to hold up a little bit longer. We've seen Taufa Tofua. He's made a couple big plays now here in the second half for San Jose State. He's an excellent pass rusher in his own regard. But Brandon Baker, one of the least experienced guys on this offensive line, only a true sophomore. But that's a place, I think it's a little area of concern early this year for Texas.
Remember, of course, the offensive line last year with Banks and Connor and Jake Majors and Cameron Williams. I mean, everywhere you looked on that offensive line, you had NFL prospects. 38-7 here in Austin. More to come as we'll take a closer look at Arch Manning's day. Don't go anywhere.
ABC College Football is presented by the Starbucks Coffee Company.
Arch Manning with 5 total touchdowns today against San Jose State. 4 throwing, 1 running. 38-7. Final minutes here in Austin. All SEC, ABC triple header today. SEC teams in action throughout the day. Remember, Ole Miss and Kentucky coming your way, and then Oklahoma hosting Michigan tonight. Thus, the use for the enhanced ESPN app.
That Oklahoma-Michigan game is going to be fun. We've been talking a lot about Arch Manning, young, talented quarterbacks. Bryce Underwood at Michigan has all the tools, but going into that environment with Brent Venables calling plays on defense for Oklahoma, going to be trying to confuse him, and I can't wait to watch that.
Walker Egan has been pushing hard here in this 4th quarter. Coming back for the ball is Scholes. That forward progress was backed up right there. So they're going to mark him all the way back at, let's see where they put this ball.
Well, the Texas defense now has their backups finally in the game. They have been so good early this season after allowing just 203 yards against Ohio State, less than 270 yards in this game. Before that last completion, 4 takeaways. They're playing so well on this side of the ball, and I think the eyes will continue to be on offense as Arch Manning continues to develop. But if that offense catches up, this is a team, Joe, to do some big things this year.
The 3rd down and 4. Wow. And that was batted down, getting right into that passing lane. And denying him was Harold Canoe.
Yeah, and D tackle is a big question on this defense coming into this year. They lost 4 draft picks at defensive tackle the last 2 years, all taken in the first 3 rounds. So Sarkisian goes to the portal. He brings in Cole Brevard from Purdue and Travis Shaw from UNC, Rod Watson from Syracuse, and Harold Canoe from Ohio State. And I think that's where a lot of people are going to be looking early this season. A key to them going to back-to-back college football playoffs, they were so hard to run against inside.
Canoe, who grew up in a small village in Germany, then came to the U.S. in 2020 to play American football, and now starring here for Texas, Katie.
You know, Tess, Colin Simmons went down for Texas early in this quarter. He spent a lot of time in the injury tent. When he came back out to the bench, I threw up my thumbs up, raised my eyebrows. He said, I'm good, I'm good. So good news for Texas fans. We've got more of the 4th quarter and the final of this game on the other side on ABC.
So, Jesse, the stat line is now complete for Arch Manning as his day is done. 5 total touchdowns, 295 yards.
Mostly good, a little bit of bad. Again, a lot of coachable moments he'll take with him into their next game against UTEP as he continues to develop.
Matthew Caldwell is the backup quarterback who is now in the game for Texas.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
Earlier this week, Coach Sark said when he was asked about, okay, who backs up Arch Manning? Because you got a true freshman in KJ Lacey, who they love. I mean, this guy's going to be amazing. But Caldwell transfers in from Troy. He was the starter there, had success there. It's his 4th school. He's a journeyman, but he's reliable. He's steady. He's a veteran guy. He was at Jacksonville State. He was at Gardner-Webb. Then he went to Troy, and now here he is, the backup to Arch Manning at Texas. Christian Clark getting the carries here with under 6 minutes to play.
And Joe, it was really interesting hearing Sark's thought process on that. It was really like an NFL mindset because he said, okay, coming into the year, Arch Manning's making his first start, you know, first year as the starter. We got a redshirt freshman.
Yep.
I got a true freshman in the room. I need a veteran presence, someone that's been around, who's got a great rapport with Arch Manning. And that was a big decision. He said he brought him in on his visit, just loved his personality and his vibe, and knew it would fit really, really well into that quarterback role.
As he gives to Gibson. Gibson with a good run.
They got a good stable of back.
Oh, don't listen. We haven't even seen Trey Wisner today, who is at a starting level like the co-starter was C4.
And then
they are deep.
And then Christian Clark, coming out last year, was the number 3 running back, and then Jarrett Gibson was the number 2 running back.
Still
and
looking at the
yeah, but I mean, like, he's about 10 pounds lighter. I think some of the guys took their chains back.
Gibson with the carry.
He's got the spinner, which is my personal favorite right now. He's checking it out too.
You're one of those spinner guys, like John Cena's old championship.
I always wondered what I would have bought if there was NIL back when I was at Florida in the late 90s. I don't know if a spinner would have been on my bingo card, but a lot of Abercrombie and Fitch cargo shorts. That's for sure.
They wouldn't, you know, knowing your wife, they wouldn't last 1 second in your current closet, my man.
No, they would not.
Not one. Lockett.
Well, and speaking of running backs, then you got receivers. So Khalid Lockett, he's the number 3 receiver coming out of high school as well. We talked about Sark's recruiting and all those players you lose to the NFL. And we're in an era where everybody's filling holes with portal.
Yep.
Here at Texas, man, they still get it done getting guys out of high school. And they're able to keep them and they're able to develop them.
That's right. And then you learn the system. You grow into it. You turn into the player you want to be, the player that Sark and Kyle Flood and PK want you to be.
Such a great point, Joe, because Texas is the only program in the FBS that has the same head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator for the last 5 years.
And look at who those coaches are.
And you're learning the same schemes, and you're hearing it from the same voices and the same styles, and you can develop guys so you can lose that NFL talent. Look at their offensive line. All the new players on this Texas O-line are guys they recruited out of high school, and they're able to plug and play at a high level.
Managing the personnel there isn't a player running off the field.
Illegal substitution. Offense, 12 players in formation. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Let's take a big picture look at things here with Texas. The Sark Stampede, they are calling this. And you think about the last 2 seasons, of course, all the big games, all the wins. The SEC title game conquered in year number 1 in the SEC. Back-to-back CFP appearances, coming so close a year ago. And you mentioned all the talent, 12 draft picks in 2025 to the NFL, as the attempt from Caldwell is incomplete.
You know, and I think Steve Sarkisian hopes this is the team that kicks the door in and finally wins that national championship. You got a lot of young players on this team that have been to the college football playoff, or they've seen this team in the college football playoff the last 2 seasons. And Sark believes there's a hunger to guys like Arch Manning and the rest of these young players. They want to be the ones that finally take that next step and bring home the national championship trophy.
Gibson on the carry on 2nd and 15. When we were sitting with Sark yesterday, you know, everybody makes so much about week 1. These are long college football seasons now. With a 12-team playoff, teams do not stay the same. And when you have this much base talent, you typically are going to grow into it. This is nothing like what this team's going to look like a month from now, let alone 2.5, 3 months from now.
Look at Ohio State losing at Oregon last year, getting beat by Michigan late in the year. That Oregon-Ohio State Rose Bowl game in the playoff, that looked a lot different than the one we saw earlier in the year. You're absolutely
Notre Dame last year?
Yeah.
Gibson again on the carry on 3rd down.
You know, so that's interesting for Texas because, yes, they take the L on the road. But again, for the committee this year, some tweaks to the metric and schedule strength and adding more weight to big games and rewarding teams that beat good teams early, but also rewarding teams that lose to good teams. I think going on the road against the defending national champs with a quarterback as a new starter, losing by 7 points in the committee room in November, that's going to bode well for Texas, comparing that versus other teams' losses.
We'll bring this thing home when we return. 2-minute timeout here in Austin.
Cheer 20-17. Back to you, Tess.
We will see how that plays out. It's coming your way, and then Michigan, Oklahoma tonight. Here's a 4th down and 6 coming out of the 2-minute timeout. Caldwell back to pass, and he connects and gets it. As Lockett, the true freshman, secures the ball, and there are some with great interest in the outcome of these next 2 minutes.
Really nice job by Caldwell that time, staring down the barrel. There was a blitz by San Jose State. He's able to find Khalil Lockett on the in route. Nice blitz pickup, too, by Jarrett Gibson that time. Backups putting it together, making use, taking advantage of their opportunities here late in this game.
The well-traveled Matthew Caldwell on his 4th school. The backup to Arch Manning, young man who grew up in Auburn, Alabama, and led Auburn High School to a state championship game. Gibson looking for a crease, and the ball came out, and San Jose State jumps on it.
Oh, and that's something that's going to drive Gibson crazy. Fumbles were a bit of an issue for him a year ago as well. Late in this game, you just got to be better with ball security. 5 points of pressure on it. But again, we talk about coachable moments. It's not just for Arch Manning. It's for a lot of other young players on Texas as well. And great job by Jordan Pollard being there to jump on that one. And for the San Jose State defense, still playing very hard to the last whistle. Time it was Larry Turner Gooden, the Texas transfer.
That's right.
Who actually punched that one out, getting a little revenge on his old team late.
There is Gibson, part of that deep running back room, as Walker Eget and the Spartans will get their last moments here on this big mountain to climb in Austin. He was looking for Leland Smith, who had that spectacular effort earlier today. The Texas native, grew up in Houston and then went to Purdue and then transferred out west to the Spartans.
And obviously not the start of the season San Jose State wanted either, but you took a look at their schedule. It's pretty good in the Mountain West Conference. Last year they had to play the top 4 teams in the conference at the end of the final rankings. This year, no Boise State, no UNLV, no Colorado State. When you watch Boise State struggle early this year against South Florida and Fresno struggle against Kansas, I think the Mountain West Conference could be a bit more open than people initially anticipated.
He's going to keep it on the ground with Bates. Again, everybody's going to take the microscope to everything Arch Manning did today. The box score is going to read 295 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 1 very good-looking rushing touchdown. As you said, sometimes it's a roller coaster ride. It's not always a straight ascent to have the success, and that was the case today with Arch. 3rd down and 7. Final half minute of this game, as Bates will get the carry. That should shut things down here in Austin.
Now, if you're Texas, you're Arch Manning, you go back, you watch the film, and you correct the mistakes. And the hope for Steve Sarkisian is that the mistakes Arch Manning made here today and against Ohio State, those aren't going to get repeated, but there's going to be more down the road. That's the evolution of a quarterback. A lot of good things to take away from this game if you're Texas. Certainly on defense. It's a long season, as you said, Joe, but all the goals for Texas are still out ahead of them.
Coach Sark, very pointed this week. Everybody around these players said, go out, be physical, execute. The players themselves were saying, let's go out and just have some fun. Well, there were some moments where there were big smiles out there with the Longhorns. Big plays. Parker Livingston making one of them, the 83-yarder. He finished with 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. Katie?
Thanks, Tess. Coach, great game. You know that your quarterback's a hot topic. What did you think of Arch's day?
Well, I thought he had a really good game today. You know, I thought he took advantage of some balls down the field. Lesson learned on a protection breakdown, forcing the ball. We're going to have some of those growing pains with him, but I thought he used his legs for the touchdown, threw the ball down the field well, and created some explosive plays.
Your defense was fantastic. What impressed you on that side?
Well, this is a unique offense to defend, and so our ability to defend the pass and the run, and obviously creating the 4 turnovers is huge.
Congratulations.
Good job, brother.
Arch, you said last week you didn't play to your standard. What did you think about your play today?
Once again, not very good, but, you know, we got to clean up a lot of things. Some guys made some plays, though, so that's good, but, you know, it was a little sloppy.
What do you feel like you learned and improved on?
I thought I made more plays and attacked them more, but, you know, it was just sloppy all around.
Thank you for the time.
Yeah, have a good
Congratulations.
one.
He says sloppy. He says not very good. He had some good moments today. He had some really good moments. He also had some learning moments. 5 total touchdowns. Ole Miss and Kentucky's coming up next. For Katie and Jesse, I'm Joe Tessitore. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let's get you to the college football scoreboard studio with Kevin. Kevin, take it away, my man.